So we are ready to start the roleplay session of the downtime session of Lancer. Where were we at last session? We just fuck. What did we just do? Oh my god.
The last
I
was
remember.
pure chaos.
So clanners show up,
Oh
fight,
yeah.
because Lyra technically should have asked before using the clan symbol because her family kind of wasn't supposed to. We were actually kicking ass and doing good. Default was Knight's tailing, and then suddenly everything went to shit. A detective shows up looking for Sylvia, asking why she murdered an heiress. The meter maids from fucking Boundless show up to collect on all of Isadora's old parking tickets she didn't know she had. And for a reason, and because the clanners broke every space law coming here, the space military showed up
Space
in
cops. Space
legally
cops.
distinct from Leo's
Mm-hmm.
to just shoot laser beams at us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't forget the greatest enemy of all, the famous streamer Ninja was also there.
Oh my god,
Or
I
was it
forgot
Vosh? I can't remember.
It sounds like
It was
Bosch. We don't fucking care.
Ninja Storm Bosch. I completely forgot him.
Yeah, I just melted him.
I forgot he happened. I legitimately forgot.
We're Bryn, who just lasered half of the reinforcements, and my son, Coriander,
Mm-hmm.
who took a big hit, but then just proceeded to just, from sheer direction of protect, just fucking wiped out a good amount of HP from the enemy unit, and even took some people out.
Didn't Coriander take out Swordwolf like a hero?
Coriander's very good.
What a good boy.
We remember Swordwolf well. So Alice, you had an idea for how this downtime session should go. I've decided, I think, for all of us, I think Fefner's on board, that you should kind of narratively control this downtime because I like your idea. I think it's good.
I want to do my thing first, since
Yeah.
Isidore will probably just do an email.
Yeah. Isidore,
Yeah,
So
the thing I have will take over. So anybody has anything that they have to get out of the way first,
Yeah.
we should probably do that
Okay.
first.
Do
should
that
I
first.
also do my downtime activity because it doesn't have anything to do with the events?
I guess. I mean, if you're not going to be able to narratively weave it into the event, then yeah.
Yeah, it can happen literally any time. It's just going to be me saying, "Hey, this happens," and then it will.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But yeah, first off, Isadora has had some info for a while. Like a while back, she got into contact with Freya,
Mm-hmm.
and at this point, I kind of trust the Wooloos a bit more, and I'm even sort of kind of turning around on Kovanen. She seems okay.
Maybe.
But at this point, I've got to hook Freya up with someone on the inside, and we somewhat recently met with someone on the inside, so I'm going to follow Freya's contact info.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, Freya gave you a way to email her and a way to vid call her if you wanted to, but Isadora is socially awkward, so she's probably just gonna shoot off an email instead of doing the thing I want, which is fine.
I'll do vid call, because you never know who's watching emails.
Right, so...
I'm banking on Deliverance not knowing what vid calling is.
Well, luckily, Deliverance has a very... I can establish, in lore, that Deliverance has a really difficult time patching into communications that aren't happening in their space. They have a very easy time patching into conversations that are happening in their space. But the Flavor Town, which is what you're on right now, is not in Deliverance space, and Deliverance has a very difficult time getting to it. So you vid call Freya. What are your settings? Who do you call as? When the caller ID pops up, what does it show?
It probably uses her call sign Nova.
Okay.
That's probably all I would have given when we first contacted.
Right, so she answers basically, it barely rings before she answers. She's sitting there. She's a black-furred Nimish. She's got dark glittering eyes, and she's wearing dark clothes as well, so it's almost like you're staring into a void. And she looks relieved to see you, and she says, "I'd be lying if I said I wasn't waiting for you, but I hope you're not offended when I also say I'd assumed you'd forgotten about me." It's been too long. Her tail
Eh.
lashes.
It has been. Apologies. I've had some jobs though, and by now I think I've actually figured out someone who might be able to help you.
Her tail lashes differently. Like first it was anger, now it is excitement as she leans forward and her fur prickles in excitement. Like she's just like there's bloodlust glinting in her eyes. I've been patiently plotting my revenge for too long. Please tell me you have good news for me, Isadora. Tell me you've provided me the means to render onto Meliora things that are Meliora's.
Well, that might take some time, but I still don't have a good gauge on Kovanen. But there's somebody else who I don't think is under as much scrutiny. I'll send you the contact info. Make sure to copy that down on paper. It will auto-delete after a few seconds.
Got it. That name, Kovanen, means nothing to me. But then you send this name, and she physically recoils, right? At the mere sight of Svava's name. It's like you reached through the screen and slapped her. she recovers quickly, but her face is contorted in a mix of expressions, and there's this long pause as she visibly, quietly calculates to herself. And, like, let's just congratulate this pause on its pregnancy. Finally, she speaks, and her voice is just so hollow. Do you know how long this individual has been with this operation?
I can't say I do.
She's crushed. Like, she slumps, like the anger is gone, and she looks away from you. And, like,
I am wrong.
No, but maybe I did. Thank you. And she just exits the call. There you go.
Worded out loud. Oh no, it's her ex.
It's her ex.
I just turned to Coriander. Did I mess up? And then I just get question marks back. Coriander doesn't know. Coriander, no.
Yeah, Freya's Svava's ex-wife. So yeah, yay. You love to see it, folks. But we won't, I don't know, you won't learn that, I don't think, beyond me just revealing it in character. But yeah, have fun with that. So now you're good. What's your downtime?
Alright, yeah, my downtime is basically just, I'm gonna do a modified Get Focused roll, because Get Focused is normally just you name what you want to learn, and it's normally a trigger. Instead, I'm actually going to be upgrading Coriander.
Yay!
Since Coriander's an NPC and not a full-on PC, I'm basically just choosing from the features available to the Assault RPV class, because that's the template I gave it. RPV doesn't really give you much, though. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this to give Coriander the Assault class trait Micro Missile Barrage, which is a line 8 volley of micro missiles. All characters within the affected area must succeed on a hull save or take. It depends on what level or what tier the NPC's at, but at the moment, 6 kinetic damage. On a successful save, they take half damage.
Okay, cool.
It's also worth noting this is a recharge tag. Does anybody else have a recharge tag?
Not yet.
Yeah, recharge is basically
No.
You can only use it one time until it charges, and basically, after use at the start of every turn, you roll a d6. If it hits the recharge mark, then you can use it again. So basically, this is recharge 6, so I have to roll a 6 in order to be able to use it a second time. But it's also a quick action, which is nice, so yeah, basically, Not too much. I think Isadora. Not really too much detail to this, though. I think Isadora just, turns back, starts working on uh, Coriander again. Uh, Probably flashes to her in the hangar, equipping something, or like adding to the blueprints, I guess, because
Mhm.
that's how we're doing this.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, and that's pretty much all I need to do for this entire downtime. So I'm good.
You don't need to like roll or anything for that, right? You don't need to like.
Nope.
Okay.
Get
Cool.
organized is just you get the thing.
Cool. I'm trying to decide like if I can flavor Quinn's downtime in. I don't know if she'll have the time once we start role playing, so I'm gonna do my downtime first too, just to be on the safe side. Quinn wants to keep working on the project that she's making, the VR a safe browsing suite, which I'm calling the Matchmaker. Basically, thanks to this that last session. So I'm gonna begin
What?
because the two things she needs to finish the Matchmaker are let me look again: specific knowledge or techniques and specialized tools. She has neither, so I need to spend my downtimes getting those two things. So I'm gonna begin.
Alright.
I'm gonna begin with the thing that Quinn thinks is most important, which is the knowledge, the code, etc. I'm gonna do that with a gather information. So I'm gonna press my gather.
Actually, Get Creative says that you can finish it during your next downtime without rolling. So basically, you do still need to take up the downtime, basically, but like you can just roleplay this out. You don't need to
Okay.
roll for it.
So the first thing Quinn does is she goes into her archives, the old Earth archives, because like she just has this knowledge that technically shouldn't exist. And she just goes through, because the thing that she thinks will be the safest is old shit that like nobody even has the way to like get to anymore. Like technology has advanced so much that like we're talking like chat roulette and Omegle, like you can't like get to that shit anymore, right? You don't even know how to patch into that shit anymore, right? So she's gonna start by looking at the way technology was in the real old days, like the actual 90s, right? The actual early aughts. We're talking like DARPA shit, right? And it's in there, and she's gonna start there. She's gonna get that technology. She's gonna build up like from Fortran. She's gonna code this shit in Fortran, like from the ground up, and she's gonna learn it on her own. Like she's just gonna learn Fortran like Julia learned Blender in 10 minutes, right? and just just code this shit. And so she'll get the skills and technology to establish this thing that is basically almost impossible to patch into, to listen into, to watch, that if you aren't let in, right? Like aren't explicitly let in. So she begins with that. So that's the specific knowledge that she will be getting. And then can I roleplay out both things? Can I get both things at once, or do I have to do it twice in a row?
Let's see. I think you can just it says you can finish, so I think you can just get both things.
Okay, so the next thing she's got to do, like the next thing she needs to do, and she's going to be churning, and like narratively, I'm making this happen now, but timeline-wise, she'll be working at this for a long time. This is going to take weeks, like months, maybe even to finish, right? To get off the ground. But this is how she's doing it. From here, she's going to be getting help from NPCs that will be meeting in the future, who will also pitch in on this effort to like provide her code and things like that. We haven't met them yet, but that's what she'll be doing. Additionally, she has like the knowledge of Oculus Rift and stuff like that. She builds like a VR system, so like she can interact with Kovanen in virtual space. And then she also the VR has progressed to this point. She gets like technology from a different NPC that will allow her to build a system that will simulate like sensation experienced in the VR. Then she gets like a image
Haptic feedback.
Yep, haptic feedback, and she just constructs this thing right in her room, right in her room on the Flavor Town, and she kind of it's kind of those fold out beds that like come out of the wall. That's
a murder bed.
Yeah, she basically constructs her VR to sit in and talk to her crush in System, the matchmaker, in one of that kind of things. So she can just fold it into the wall so like nobody knows it exists, because she's hiding it away for now. But not that she doesn't trust the Hex Girls, who are like, you know, the closest people in the world to her, but more like she doesn't want to be teased about it. Because Sylvia and Bryn keep teasing her about having a crush on a girl, and so now she's like just gonna hide this fact that she's gay for Kovanen. Anyway, now that she's got it set up, she has to get it set up elsewhere. So she has to get the files to Slava. The only way to like Kovanen's not gonna be able to like build have a VR thing like the documents. So Slava can just print this out now, right, and have it. But like Kovanen can't just print out a secret, you know, place to chill with this girl who has a crush on me and not like have that be seen. So the safest place that they can put the one that Kovanen can sit in is on the Ixorin. So she just sends those documents over to Svava. Svava accepts them, and she's going to start installing it on the Ixorin. So now the matchmaker is done. For the purposes of everybody who knows this, as GM, this thing is as secure as anything can possibly be. So if you can get your hands on this, you can send messages that only the person you want to see. And anybody can use it. You can do virtual reality things in this. It'll be very close to real life, as if you're interacting with the person in real life. This matchmaker system is just like the kind of ridiculous thing that you could literally make billions on, and Quinn's just doing it to convince a girl to fall in love with her. So that's it. That's my downtime. So the matchmaker is effectively done, like through this, but timeline-wise, this is going to take months. So that'll be it. So she'll be churning on that for a while before the session begins. Because the Clanners showing up, which is what's going to happen with Alice, is going to interrupt her. But yeah, so that's my downtime. Cool. How do I make the downtime, like, say the project is complete now? Because it's sitting here on in progress now.
Probably just click on it and go in.
Oh.
I've never actually done Get Creative, though.
Okay, let me take a look at it.
Yeah, it should have a slider or something you can just adjust.
It doesn't look like there's a slider, but yeah. I guess I can click the X on requires specific... No, that didn't fix it. I'll figure it out. Let's keep going. Let's do the roleplay. Let's get this over with. Well, yeah. Sorry, continue.
Alright, does anybody else have roleplay or downtime activities?
I don't have any specific offhand, no.
There is one thing that Sylvia probably needs to do with Lyra before we do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
If Alice is okay with that real fast.
I don't even know if Alice is here.
Alice, you're still muted.
Yeah, sure. I'm here.
There you go. All right. So, yeah. So, narratively, this takes place kind of in the aftermath of Lyra sort of winning her punch-off and officially being inducted into the clan.
Mm-hmm.
There is... Narratively, what's going on after that? Give me a scene here.
In the immediate aftermath, there is like in the immediate aftermath. There's a lot of there is an impromptu celebration. They do like she does end up basically spending a couple of days on the Clanner dropship, because they have like a grand feast, kind of basically reestablishing her sept of one person.
So
but after that, she will return after that.
So Sylvia is actually going to. Would she be able to just argue her way on board that?
Oh yeah, sure. She wouldn't even have to argue.
Yeah. So she's going to come along. She's literally just going to load up her mech, load up Lyra's mech, which is also her mech, and just go like, hey guys, I'm going to be gone for like 2 or 3 days or whatever. Be back soon. So in the middle of all these festivities, when there's a moment where Lyra's not getting like clapped on the back or whatever by like 4 Clanner dudes, Sylvia actually is getting along mostly great with because just thinks they're all hilarious. She kind of like taps Lyra on the shoulder. She just goes like, "Can we have a conversation?"
Sure.
Yeah, come this way. I brought booze.
That's all you needed to say. Sure, boy.
So, Sylvia leads Lyra into whatever hangar on this dropship is currently storing all the mechs, and she set up a little folding table, like essentially chips and 2 bottles of hard cider and an extra like bottle of ale. Like we drank through all of the heavier spirits, and this is the best I could find. I'm sorry.
So, what was
I
on your
mean,
mind?
you didn't ask Bryn. He could have given something.
Yeah, Bryn could have hooked you up.
I have a whole liquor cabinet.
There's a reason.
Oh, good.
There's a reason.
Good, he's gonna need that.
There's a reason the contact that Quinn talked to last session referred to Bryn as a recovering alcoholic, and it got him all upset.
Yeah. No, Sylvia's just like, so she kind of invites Lyra to sit down. She just goes, "So, how did the Queen Grace handle for you?"
Well, it handled well. I say I rather enjoyed it. It was just a little different.
I thought it might be. Sylvia's cheeks just kind of turn a little pink. I didn't want you to look like you were just standing up and winning because you happen to have a bigger neck than everyone else, and I thought they'd be more impressed if you launched with this. And still won. And also, and she kind of sits down and goes like, "You want a drink? I brought drink."
You know, I would like one actually.
So Sylvia will actually, she's got 2 glasses waiting. She'll open Lyra's bottle for her and pour the drink into it. And then she'll hold out her cup for Lyra to do the same.
So, what did you have in mind?
I'm gonna be probably gone for a little while after we get back.
You're leaving us?
No. In fact, better. I've got it on good authority I might be able to finally get this hunk of junk. And she kind of taps her back through her hard suit. Finally removed. It's not going to reverse everything that happened to me because of the implantation. There's way too much just connected to my spine for a complete extraction, but I can at least get this really heavy bit that makes it hard for me to sleep out and stop popping pain meds all hours.
I sense that the way you are saying this, it may not be the safest thing, right?
It's literally never been attempted before, so no, it's probably not. But just in case something did go wrong, I wanted you to know, well, thank you for taking care of the Queen Grace. She just looks away.
Yubaka.
I was honored to fly it.
It's
you say as if you talk as if you won't be coming back, but I know you. You'll be coming back.
If I am,
When you do.
when I do, I was kind of wondering if there'd be someone I could come back to.
I won't be going anywhere.
Sylvia just kind of like begins to like sniffle a little bit, and then 5 seconds later, Lyra just finds herself getting like hugged on by a surprisingly nervous Sylvia, who's been like presenting hard as steel the entire time.
Aw.
And that's basically the end of that scene.
Aww. Did anyone have anything else before we get to party time?
No, sorry, I haven't unless somebody else says anything. Is Bryn gonna pregame? Jeff, just Bryn pregame?
What do you mean?
A party's gonna occur. Does Bryn have supernatural party senses that allows him to pregame for parties?
No, of course he doesn't. He's not cool.
He's not a new type.
He
That's a new
absolutely is
type
not a
thing,
new
right?
type.
What if he is a new type, though?
I mean, I guess.
So yeah, I guess if we're gonna do surgery stuff after the party, then yeah, we can get started with that then.
I think
The party, that is, not the surgery.
you say Bryn's not a new type, but you have the empathy skill and you sensed that presence last session. So, in this essay, I will, but do continue.
Okay, so Lyra comes back, a little beleaguered, but doing fine, and things are a little quiet for a couple of days.
How many days would you say? This is kind of cool. I mean,
About 2.
about 2? All right, cool. Thank you.
And then
It's more for Fefner
No.
than for me, because like she's keeping track of like calendar stuff. That's all.
like around like basically when most people were eating lunch,
While you were eating lunch, I was. It's very good.
around that time, the Claire dropship, which has been spending most of its time on the planet, launches several smaller vessels that are shuttles that request docking permission out of the blue. Lyra has not said anything to any of you
Well,
about this.
Bryn, you're the commander. You have the commander council. You can let them in or out. You can say you can dock or you cannot.
I would like to talk to whoever's in charge, please. I imagine that this is not an unreasonable request if they're trying to dock us.
Yeah, sure. They don't really have a superior because it's not really a war party, but
Just a representative. That's
yeah, they have one of the more veteran warriors with them who will kind of show up and be like, "Hello, glad to see you. Just
Yes,
coming aboard for a bit."
May I ask why? I say. No offense or anything. I just we don't normally get people docking in our station, so I would like to know are you coming to meet someone?
He
yeah.
laughs as if this is a joke. Like that you're playing dumb. It's like, well, obviously, we've accepted our wayward daughter back home with a party, but we've barely met her own comrades.
Oh, of course.
He pulls out a bottle. How much does Bryn actually know about good alcohol?
I think he's not an expert, but he knows enough.
This is capital
So-
G, capital S, good shit.
Yes. He would probably know enough. Like, if he knows a little bit, he'll know enough. Not to know where they got this, but somehow they managed to get their hands on alcohol and booze and Boundless, which would normally cost a mother-loving fortune.
He goes quiet for a second. He's like, "Where did you get that?" Hold on, never mind. It just hits a button and it approves.
Approves everything.
Like the world's like the Overture's finest fancy booze.
It's like 40-year-old liquor, been aged in oak barrels, and oak trees extinct.
Fucking like Napoleon cognac.
Extinct vessels.
Mm-hmm.
that wandered the stars. Yeah, so like when they all pile out of these shuttles into the launching bay, do you come to meet them?
Oh, I am absolutely standing there, like as uh, the doors open, like the airlocks. I'm like
Cool.
right there.
Yeah.
I have I have a glass in my hand. I have 2 glasses in my hand.
Do you notify the rest of the team, like the rest of the Hex girls?
I don't think that Bryn would think to in this moment.
Ah, I mean,
You just see Isadora like slide off the frame, just not even walking. She's just sitting down and just unmovingly slides through the frame as she senses socialization.
but no. Okay, Isadora, do you have to? But you also sense good beer. You also sense best liquor. You must fight. You must fight these warring desires.
Isadora
have this
slides
battle
into
with
the
yourself.
corner and just starts glitching out of bounds and will obtain liquor through that means.
Please describe the internal conflict that Isadora feels as she is pulled in these 2 separate directions of good alcohol and a social interaction.
It is the letter A repeating infinity.
You love to see it. Okay. Don't worry, we'll get some for her.
As they come off the ship, the guy who had the like ludicrously expensive scotch
Mm-hmm.
meets Bryn and will immediately start talking way too much about not only the scotch that he has found and his surprisingly convoluted adventures in recovering it, but also asking all kinds of questions about Bryn's background. While this is happening, the rest of the Claners have just wandered into the ship around him.
Yeah. It's this that gets.
So they just like
Yeah.
spread out into the station. Like,
Yeah, they're just like calling.
Perfect.
They're just like
I love this.
Yes.
straight up like finding whatever place looks like it's party time.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that Bryn has warned people that they're about to have a lot of company.
No,
No, he
Jeff
didn't.
Said, Just said.
Oh my
yeah,
god!
He
Yeah, he did-
extremely
he did-
forgot.
yeah, yeah.
Like tunnel vision.
Yep.
Who meets them first?
Well, the noise that they're making will distract Default from the matchmaker, so she'll be the first one to step out and see, like, poke her head around, and because she's a teenage girl and she's curious, she's gonna poke her head around to see what the heck is going on. 2 days have passed since the last mission. Did you know that Default's a teenage girl going through puberty? She's had a growth spurt. She was 5'2", now she's 5'9", and so she's skulking about. Eating like in the kitchen, right? She's rushing, like she pokes her head out like with a bunch of food that she stole from the kitchen, and then went back to her room as teenagers do. But now there's all this noise, and she sees these Clanners, and she perks up immediately, and like rushes over to them. She has supernatural party senses, and says, "Hey, friends." Do you know what cannabis is? Her eyes gleam.
They laugh, and assure you, several of them at one time, oh, you have no idea how good they grow in space.
We
You notice.
cannabis.
Do you have Rita's situation?
She does not. I intentionally did not give her Rita's situation. It's not
Okay,
fair
you
for
get
her to
For it
have it.
anyway.
Yeah.
You just don't get any bonuses.
So at the back of this crowd is actually Sylvia, who
Mhm.
will try to get her attention. Let's see. Do you have any kind of tag that would help you with that, Cass?
Let me see here. Yes, I do in fact have take control. Also, Sylvia has +6 to read a situation.
Roll read a situation for me, Sylvia.
Alright, so roll 1d20 +6. That's a 13.
That's a success.
Okay. The Quitters are in a good mood, and you get the feeling that, like, while they're willing to, they understand, they get that Default is not an adult, and they're probably not gonna be too crazy with her around. Even though she is also kind of a warrior, so they'll figure that out.
Default does not
That's
look
all-
like a warrior, but do continue.
I mean, they know she is, even if she
Yeah.
doesn't look like one, so they'll figure that out. That's not what worries you. What does worry you is that you instantly make a mental connection that you're surprised you didn't make on the way here. Which is
Oh,
that
boy.
in the middle of the pack, there's a very imposing man with zero hair anywhere on his body, including
He's completely
his,
smooth.
including his eyebrows, which are gone. And you know this guy. You have interacted with him
Oh
enough
shit,
times
it's Mr. Clean!
to be pretty sure that this is the guy that Default called Cue Ball.
Perfect. I love it.
Sylvia is just
And
going
he
to,
is-
like, from
he
the
is-
back
he
of
is-
this group.
Like he's getting closer to Default. Like he wants to say something to her.
This is the guy that Default cyberbullied in real life.
Yes.
This is, of
He's
course, a moment
literally
that
gonna
resembles
push, like,
the
3 people out of the way and go
Theo
like,
versus Joe
oh, no, 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 no,
pose.
no, 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 no. And like she's like reaching out, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
By the way, unrelated to anything, I just realized I forgot to give Lyra's room a door. So Lyra's room hasn't had doors this entire time on this map. I'll put doors in Lyra's room later.
It has
Oh, no.
a door, Jenner. Come on.
No, it has. Oh, it has a door. She made a door.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Back to the roleplay.
We all have doors.
Yes.
Myra just shot the door. There's actually a door.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, really like weird because everything else is open and hers is shut.
So yeah, this dude is approaching Default. Default is so tunneled in on interacting with these new friends who are friends of Lyra's, right? Who are family
they're-
of Lyra's, right? That she's
They
like,
think they-
oh, you do know what cannabis is. Great, you can give me advice on how to improve mine. And like she'll just grab the biggest guy's arm and pull him along with her down towards the hydroponic, towards the lift that will take them down to the hydroponic gardens, right? Like, come with me. You're gonna love this.
So a couple of them actually follow along because this is inherently funny.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them go to find a place to set up because this is actually a traditional thing where one person hosts and then the other one hosts.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that follow you, the ones that she grabs, is the tallest dude there, who she may or may not have noticed yet, is completely the guy who's completely bald.
Yeah,
He looked like he was about to say something, but he hasn't yet. Until you show up at the hydroponics and he actually examines it really intently. Like he's actually taking you seriously. That you are interested in how to grow stuff in space.
Yeah, and she still doesn't realize this is the guy because she didn't really see him.
So he actually looks over everything. It turns out that actually hydroponics is one of his specialties on board their the Planet
Mr.
Wolf
Lewis.
dropships.
Yeah.
It's one of his jobs. So he asked some questions about it, like how are you keeping it up and all this kind of stuff. And finally, he just kind of turns with this weird look on his face and said, "You know, when you were out of a mech, you were a much more agreeable person."
Oh, that's a laugh, and then that's a but then the laugh changes to a more awkward way. Now it sinks in and she looks over at him with the I'm in trouble Ralph expression, right? I'm in danger. Ralph,
in danger.
yeah, I'm in danger. But is he given those if she looks at him with the I'm in danger, does he confirm that with vibes or no?
It's hard to tell. His mood is just weirdly unreadable. He's trying to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, he holds out a hand
Mm-hmm.
and says, "Well, I remember being young once and impetuous. No hard feelings, if you remember who I am."
She grins and she takes his hand and shakes it. And she says, "We have not formally met." And she drops the entire act. And she just is real. She exposes herself to him. "My name is Quinn. Who you met out there was Default, a construct of mine. This is the real me. This is my weed." It's nice to meet you. What's your actual name?
His actual name is Josephus.
Josephus? Josephus?
Josephus.
Okay.
Um, he nods understandingly, like he gets that. It is not that uncommon, you know, especially when you're young. It can be useful to create a kind of persona for yourself. I mean, point gestures to sort of like the bald heads, like when I started having trouble when I was younger, that's basically what I did. You know, I created a persona that was tougher, that was better than me, and I got over it with time. But they're useful. Just remember that there's as long as you remember that there's a you underneath it, and then he kind of gestures out to all this. The one that is in here growing weed in the dark in space.
Sylvia has been like watching this because she's been like terrifiedly tailing them, like, "Oh shit, is something going to happen to my kid, sis?" And she just watches this happen, like, and just turns around and goes like, "I don't know why I expected different. They're all really wholesome."
Yeah. Does she say it aloud? Like she just like, or is that just an internal thing?
That is actually, she like just says it out loud, like to herself, like very low. She's like, "I don't know why I expected different.
And do you, like
I'm
Quinn?
gonna worried again."
Yeah, Quinn perks up hearing Sylvia's voice, and she actually says, "Oh, you should meet my sister." Kinda. It's complicated, but it's real. And like she pulls her new friend over to meet Sylvia, who they already know each other, but Quinn doesn't know this, right? So
Oh my gosh. Sylvia just like actually kind of like is taken aback by this to the point of like, "Hi, so we met, we were
oh,
drinking together, but formally, hi, I'm Sylvia. This is Quinn.
yeah, Quinn.
I did not expect you to do that." And she's like looking at Quinn like, "Oh,
Why
I
wouldn't
guess
I?
this is, I guess we actually did make friends."
I think while this is happening, Bryn walks by with the guy who had the bourbon, and he's like regaling him of like a story about DFL, about Quinn's father, like the stupid bullshit he would do when he was his commanding officer, just like
Mhm.
walking down, like, back when I was in the military, this is the kind of shit that I had to deal with my the chain of command. You guys, you don't seem to have that. That seems cool, blah blah blah. And it's something that's probably extremely embarrassing as
Well,
I walk by.
It depends. Like, well, understanding the kind of entity that Vadim is, he doesn't do embarrassing. He does atrocious. So
Yes.
it's a different kind. It's a different kind of.
It's like he's joking about it, but it's something that he should not have done. Like,
Yeah.
even in the military, this is not a good thing to do.
This is a capital C kind of crime that Bryn is joking about as a defense mechanism because he's traumatized.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's really regaled. Like several times he remarks to you that it's a shame that good warriors like you are pinned up in these silly in this silly environment that happens in quote unquote civilized space. But he understands that not everyone wants to live out on the frontier. Like
Bryn raised his glass. He's like, "Well, not anymore."
While this is happening, Quinn's gonna pull out the rainbow weed, the really crunk rainbow weed, and roll some blunts and get these fucking clanners high and blazed out of their fucking minds. We're gonna hotbox. We're gonna hotbox the lab.
So some of them will stay and smoke with you. The guy, they're sort of quote unquote lead, eventually lead Bryn into where they are setting up a. They're actually setting up a bunch of tables. They brought these sort of retractable tables there that like prefab little things that they can set up anywhere in whatever the widest space is. Let's see, where would they set that up? You know what? I think they actually just like set it up in the mech bay.
Of course they do. That's the perfect place.
And this is about the time Brennan realizes there's like 30 of them.
And
that-
you know what? He's like, at this point, he's like, you know what? This is beyond my control at this point. Whatever.
They are crawling all over your space station. They are looking at things and poking things. They're distracting you by asking directions and having you taste something, and they brought food and
Perfect. I love it. Brennan's office is locked.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Where is it? Has Isadora noticed that we have guests?
Yes, it is very loud. She is in her room.
Does she come out and investigate or not?
I think she would come out to scope what's going on.
Okay. At this point, two things have happened while this time has passed. Well, like Bryn has gone party, and while Quinn has gotten high with her new battle brother, right? And all these buddies here, which is Quinn is now blazed out of her fucking mind, high as hell. All restraint is gone. And she's also found a way to like patch her sound system into the Flavor Town, and she's now blasting party music through the Flavor Town. That has happened, and finally she's stumbling down the hall, like gushing, like talking with this guy whose name you're gonna have to type his name for me because I'm gonna have a hard time remembering it otherwise. Sorry.
It's like the Jewish story, and I'll type it into the thing.
Yeah, thank you. And she spots Isadora poking her head out. Thank you, Josephus. Yeah. She just snaps right to her like she grappled to her, right? Like grabs Isadora and says, Isadora! And like she introduces Isadora to Josiah. Like, okay, so Isadora's like my mom, but yes. And then she like hands Isadora a blunt, right? Because Isadora smoked with her before, and Quinn doesn't know that Isadora is awkward. And the blunt's already lit, right? Like it's already fired up. You can just toke it. How does Isadora react to being referred to as her mom? Yeah, kinda, but also not. But yes. And how does Josias respond to this? Josephus, sorry.
I reiterate, what?
What's Josephus's reaction?
Well, I'm glad to meet you. Arms open wide, like just. I mean, he's also kind of high at this point, so he doesn't really care what's going on or know. But like, he has been introduced. He is like 6 feet tall, Mr. Clean, and he is here and he is happy.
Yeah, standing next to 6 foot tall guy, Isidore, you might notice Quinn is not small next to this guy anymore. Quinn is big. She's a large girl now. She's tall. She's only an inch shorter than the 6 foot tall dude standing next to him, grinning.
Sylvia is going to actually take this moment to like she's been trailing behind the two, like very hazy, because Sylvia doesn't really do much with the weed, even if it's for medicinal purposes.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind of like a little bit baked, and she just kind of like hears the whole "this is my mom" thing, and like she connects like if Quinn is her sister and Isadora is Quinn's mom, what does that make Isadora to be? She's gonna sit there and she's like having this internal like awesome soul.
She has an interesting internal life.
And when she's like halfway through resolving that, she just turns to Isadora and goes, "Hi, Mom." I mean, what?
Good. You have a very resourceful. Absolutely.
Isadora chokes harder at this.
Is Quinn taller than Sylvia at this point? I need like how tall is Sylvia? Don't tell me Isadora yet. How tall is Sylvia?
Sylvia is not actually that tall. I think I have it written on her pilot sheet somewhere. Let me check and see if I.
All right, while
Third
you're
to
looking,
be-
how tall is Isadora?
Or
Like,
actually, it was
5'8".
oh, so Quinn's like just
yeah,
like
Sylvia's
just
taller. She's like 5'6".
okay. So Quinn is now taller than
She's
her.
not actually all that tall.
Yeah, taller than her big sis. So Quinn like gives Sylvia like a little push, right? Like a fun little push on the shoulder, and like smiles and says, "Sylvia, like my connections to people don't have to be your connections to people. You can have your own connections to people." And then but also Isadora, she looms over you. You're 5'6". She's got like inches on you.
The inner sphere is strange, but I accept it.
I don't take hallucinogens. Why is this happening?
Ah, but you should. And he but in the meantime, he pulls out a little package. He says, "I was meaning to give you this and I forgot, but I was going to give it to young Quinn. But perhaps it is better now that I know that her mother is here." And he hands you a small package.
This is
And
making,
Sylvia's
this is,
like, just
this
look
is
at
making,
this. Like,
It has a little bow and everything. It's actually adorable.
like Quinn is vibrating with happiness. This is making her so happy. It's probably making Isadora not the opposite.
It is
has like
the
a youthful gremlin under the influence of weed, and she just kind of waves and goes like, "Wow, Mom, you should open that."
it's a small package that is adorable, and it's very pink, and like, do you open it?
I guess I have to at this point.
Do you know what Turkish delight is?
Vaguely remind me.
Turkish delight is a kind of candy. It has it's basically like a little gummy with a little treat inside, like
Yeah,
a like nut or like a little piece of fruit or something like that, and powdered sugar on the outside. That's what this is. He brought these little Turkish delights to give to Quinn as a peace offering, and he has decided, since he totally believes that somehow that Quinn is absolutely telling the truth, that he should pay respect, and he is doing that by offering you these Turkish delights. They look incredibly good.
All right. There's more than one, right?
Oh, there's like 20 of these things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'll take one. I'll hand one to Quinn, one to Sylvia.
Yeah. Cool. Quinn will eat one, and then like it's good. She likes it. She's had them before. Like these aren't new to her, but like I don't know. Do Clanners make them a little different than she's had at her bougie parties?
That's actually a good question. They do taste very different. They taste a little. There's almost a kind of. Actually, I'm going to see if you can. Really quick. I don't have read a situation.
I can try rolling it.
Both of you, like all three of you.
It's Quinn's experience. Like I'm trying to. She doesn't really have a way to intuit things, and that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, roll me with all three of you do read a situation, but Quinn rolls basically a flat 20
I'll roll it at a 0, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, roll it a 0, and with the accuracy for sort of the advantage for the you've had a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't have read a situation. Would spot or investigate
Yes.
really work? Spot wouldn't
Spot
be
would
it.
work.
Yeah, spot would work. Yeah, I'm gonna add my celebrity. This is drawing from her celebrity experience. That she's been to a lot of parties. She's eaten a lot of this stuff. So the +3 is from the 1d6 for my celebrity. Yeah, so she's a 14. So that's a pass.
19. Wow.
Nice. Yes, Isadora's reading this very well.
Okay, so you all notice that it is slightly off. Not in a bad way, just in a noticeable way. Like almost as if like there was something weirdly herbal about it. It doesn't. Sylvia knows enough about edibles to know this is not an edible. That's of the kind she's familiar with.
These edibles ain't shit because they ain't edibles.
It's actually a virgin edible. It's what happens when you make it edible without the. You mean food? Do you ask him anything about that?
Sylvia is actually just gonna go like, "This is good.
Yeah.
What is this?"
Like Quinn responds with surprise, like this is familiar and yet different, right? And she's happy, like I've had so many of these.
It's
But-
familiar, but not too
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah, I've had so many of these, but this you have your own take on this. This rules. Oh, you haven't met Lyra yet. Oh, I mean you know her, but holy gosh, I need to introduce you to her how I know her. So like she like grabs just again and says, "You guys can tag along if you want, if you know." But yeah, it says as she's pulling away, you hear her say, "So Lyra's like my aunt, but she's that aunt I'm not allowed to be around without supervision. You know that one, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia's just gonna turn to Isadora and go like, "But I'm dating Lyra."
Quinn literally just told you her relationships with Lyra don't confer to you. You can have your own relationships with people on your own terms, right?
That's fair, but equally fair, Sylvia's kind of baked right now, and her brain is working at a much slower speed than it should.
We're going to need to compartmentalize a lot of this, I think.
Baller. And Sylvia just kind of like wanders off down the hallway, like slightly blazed, like going, "What is actually happening right now?"
Okay, did you actually? Okay, just to make sure, did you actually what it was?
Yes, I did.
Okay, he will explain it. I had to remember what the name of this is. Have you ever heard of Kava Kava?
I have not.
Really familiar with this.
It is a psychoactive plant on Earth, which is mildly bitter, a little bitter herbal kind of thing, which you can find in the Pacific, like places like Vanuatu, Fiji, Samoa, occasionally in like you can actually find it in New Zealand, and it is mildly psychoactive, and it's in real life it is made into tea or chewed. This is a version of it that has 10,000 years of cultivation and
Oh, no.
experimentation.
Oh no!
You are not technically you're not high, but you are for probably the next 20 hours a little more exuberant than you would normally be. Not a lot, just a little bit. Like everything's brights are a little brighter, things taste a little better. You're not going to feel tired. When this wears off, you will be very tired.
Oh my god.
You're gonna be chill in ways that you've never been chill before.
I get to roll stay cool at a plus 20.
You will I will basically tell you straight up, if you need to roll any stay cool like that or anything you could argue this would have an effect,
Yeah.
you can go ahead and take a bonus on that.
So what is Lyra doing right now? Because she's about to get like party, like she's about to get Quinn's gonna find her, right? So what is she doing? What does Quinn bust in on with Josephus?
So Lyra's actually Lyra's hard to find because she's not with any of the main party that's setting up in the Beck Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and she's also not with any of the like with this group or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to go find her.
Yeah, and Quinn is so high, she's just gonna start searching around, and like she's also like, I'm sure while she's searching around for Lyra, like we're now having one of those "dude, where's my car" moments, right? With the same energy, but it's "dude, where's my aunt? I'm not allowed to be around unsupervised." As we and I'm sure like while she's searching for Lyra, Josephus can like tell her like he understands that kind of aunt. Right? Like that he probably has an aunt like that or has had an aunt like that.
Yes.
I'm going to get a hold of something to find Lyra. This is acquire temporary or permanent allies, and Lyra is my permanent ally. Through wealth or social through wealth or social influence. And basically this is gonna work in this way, and like as Quinn's partying through the Flavor Town with her new battle brother, right? She's gonna play telephone. Where like she's gonna play like they're gonna point her in the direction of Lyra. Like, where's my aunt? Right? Tell me where my aunt is. It's like the Homestar Runner egg, like find the egg game, but for Lyra. So.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and roll that for me.
So here we go. Yeah. No,
23.
you know,
God,
no.
I feel like there should be an extra thing for this.
You cannot escape it.
It doesn't actually take you that long. You do eventually stumble in to you check basically everywhere, and eventually it occurs to you, oh, I haven't actually checked Lyra's room, which is exactly where she is. She is standing. She's kind of just standing in there, just like looking around, like a little dazed. She won't even notice that you've entered her room until you say something.
Yeah.
The door is open.
The door's open, so Bryn can't kick it in. But what she actually does is close the door so she can kick it in.
I feel like all our doors actually slide Star Trek
yeah,
doors.
they slide, right? But she unslides it and then she kicks it and then makes it slide, right? So the effect is the same, right?
Whoa.
And then she storms in with her brigade of partying clanners, and says, "Oh dang!" Because like she's so totally high, and also the shrooms are kicking in. She like rushes over to Lyra and gives her a hug. And says, "Why aren't you hanging out with our family?"
I'm sorry. I was just thinking.
That's not good. Don't do that. Don't recommend it.
They already got to you. Let me guess. Was it the candy?
I had one. I would like another one actually. That was pretty good.
Don't have more than 3.
Okay. Look, it hasn't even kicked in yet. If it was some kind of edible, I'm just gonna eat more. This shit is weak. That's the mistake you make with an edible. It's like it hasn't even kicked in yet, and you eat like 20 of them, and then you're dead.
She kind of rolls her eyes. Like she kind of like she smiles, but
That's the trick.
I knew this was gonna happen, kind of thing. And she looks back at what she was looking at, which was she has in the corner of her room. She has a big a furled old banner that has a wolf's head on it, and words in Cyrillic. And in front of it, there is a little pedestal with a really fucked, what used to probably be like a pilot helmet from a hard suit that is incredibly fucked. That's taken a lot of damage, and a sidearm which looks old as hell. Like, you're pretty sure that this thing is like based on designs that are the pre-Gates. That she just sort of has apparently just been staring at for a while. And she'll shake it off and awkwardly look at you and be like, I'll be on a little bit.
Do you promise?
She takes a big sigh. She comes over with pinky outstretched. I don't want to have to invoke this, but I will if I have to.
Quinn pinky swears with you that you will come out and hang out with her and the family, and she grins and gives you another hug. And then, like, she turns back to Jophias and says, this is my aunt that I'm not allowed to hang out with unsupervised. Lyra.
He looks a little taken aback, like he knows something that you don't, but then he immediately goes back to being, like, chill and jovial, but also kind of, like, basically shooing Diafold out of the, Quinn out of the room, even at being all jovial and stuff. He knows something is going on here that you don't.
Yeah. So
Sophie's actually like been following them this whole time. I just need a survive roll. to see
Barely-
how bad
Barely,
this is
you
kicking her ass.
barely made that survival.
I barely made it, and she is limping into the room as Default is leaving. And having like watched this interaction, she's actually just kind of gonna wave hi to Lyra as they pass.
Yeah. As
And
finish your scene, but I want to say a quick thing as Default's getting ushered out. But do finish your thing. Sorry.
yeah, and she's gonna start to say something. Look at the pedestal, think better of it, and just kind of like sit down in a corner, wave to Lyra again, and just stick her head back against the wall because, you know, she's a little baked, a little high, and now seems like a really good time to just kind of let some of this weird weed Kova vibe, you know, get off and just watch her new girlfriend like stare at pilot stuff.
Mm-hmm. So
For the record, the candies are not going to make you super bad, but they will. It's kind of more like, have you ever had like a Decadron shot?
no.
Okay, never mind then. Keep going. What were you going to say for Quinn?
So as Quinn is like, you know, shooed out, like brushed out by her brother, she like says, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm leaving, but just because you haven't met Bryn, Bryn is," and then she stops, and like there's an unheard glass shattering sound as she freezes in place and says, "Special," like in that kind of like stricken way. And then she's like, she's just shoved out of the door, and the door is closed, and she just stands there as it hits her who Bryn is to her.
Speaking of Bryn,
Hello.
there are clanners in every single part. They are loud. They are very messy, and they are climbing all over your necks. How
That's fine.
have you started drinking yet?
Absolutely.
Let's see. Do you have a is it keep cool?
Let me look at my tea. I have not looked at it. I don't. I do not have stay
Then
cool at
you'll
all.
roll at a 0.
Cool.
19, it's fine.
Okay.
Bryn's an expert at this shit. Come on.
You've managed to like you've had quite a bit of this like legendary space scotch. It's
Remember,
really
Bryn,
freaking good.
he was a captain in the military. He had a lot of subordinates. He's used to this kind of shit.
It's really
does not
freaking
faze
good.
him.
This is probably some of the best you've ever had. You found out more about where he got this. It involved apparently, from what if you can believe him, a series of duels.
Mhm.
Crashing a luxury space liner, admittedly on accident. And you're pretty sure that at least one of the things involved definitely counts as piracy. You're
I mean, I
pretty
ain't
sure
cop.
this guy has a bounty on his head that.
Well, Bryn ain't no cop, so
It's just like basically Errol Flynn. They seem to have Errol Flynn their way across Boundless to get here. Not really because they like had to, but because they wanted to. Just for like, the principle of it. Why wouldn't you?
Sends a message.
So now that most of the clanners have really started this here, they start with drinking games.
Mm-hmm.
As you are technically what amounts to the senior officer / elder of this little war band that is hosting them, you are now the guest of honor with the guy who brought the scotch. You two are the elders of the which means
I
that
think
they
Bryn is the
expect.
oldest here. Yes, I mean of our party.
Yes, probably so. I'm assuming so. Which means that they expect you to lead every toast. There are going to be at least 24 of these things.
You want
No.
to make like a survive check or something like this to see how you maintain throughout all this.
Well, I mean, I don't have that, but I do have pull rank to
Mhm.
act like I'm in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, actually, give me one of those. I want to see like how much you did that as cool as you.
Oh
Okay, so like they did like the other guy does a like opening sort of toast to you. It is eloquent. it is like straight up out of the fucking Lord of the Rings, and it looks expectantly at you, and you take a little too long to go, oh yeah, right, that's what they want. And it is incredibly awkward. But then someone, unfortunately for you, decides to try and help you.
Oh no.
In the middle of so like it is basically like full on that's what Bilbo Baggins hates in here.
Mhm.
And someone starts yelling, speech, 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 until it is a deafening roar of them clamoring and yelling for a speech.
Okay, can I make another roll?
Yes. If it's bad, I'm gonna make you give it.
It's fine. I load up empathy on my last level up. It's at +6 now.
Nice.
I'm going to try that to really just kind of feel out what they need from me right now.
Oh, come
my
on!
God!
Hey, one more than
wait!
last
You are take your D6. You're the commander. You're doing this as the commander. Take your D6.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm going to give you a D6.
Oh,
Barely
You're a
got
10.
that. Barely got that.
Literally
10.
just barely.
I don't know about the culture.
You don't know their culture, but what you do know is that they want to be entertained.
Well,
They're-
then I guess what I'm going to have to do is regale them with stories of our previous exploits.
Mhm.
The only
You
thing I
ask
can think
everyone,
of that
"Are
would
you
be
in it?"
remotely appropriate.
Mhm.
Very good choice. You don't tell stories the way they're used, but the stories are good.
Mhm.
And the earlier awkwardness kind of gets smoothed over, and that you get them laughing and you get them sort of invested, and you do okay for this round.
Oh God.
I like Quinn is like just anchored there, like lost puppy. She's processing through some feelings, and she's just completely shut down in that hallway. So let me know like when Josephus has finished his scene and steps back out, because that's when she'll re-engage in like what she's doing. Okay.
Okay.
Brain shut off.
Bryn, do you
Hello.
have? Let's see. Before I switch back to Quinn,
Would you like to know my skills here? My triggers.
I would actually.
So I have patch, I have blow something up, I have pull rank, I have empathy, I have act unseen or unheard, and I have invent or create. That's it. That's all I have.
Oh my God!
Some of those options are scary.
How much
No,
does Bryn know about making? How much does Bryn know about?
Hear me out. Hear me out. Bryn has.
About what?
Sorry.
Cut
Oh,
out.
wait, what'd you say?
Bryn has all those bionicles and like all that nerd stuff that he likes. He could like if he gets
No,
drunk
absolutely not.
like if he gets drunk or high enough, he can start like throwing
No.
his fucking Legos and shit.
What were you asking me, Alice?
Yeah,
You cut
sorry,
out here
Alice,
there.
go ahead.
How much does Bryn know about making about mixing drinks?
Plenty.
Good, because I think I'm gonna before we go back to Quinn put that invent roll to use, because he may know plenty, but he doesn't know necessarily the kinds of if they know the same drinks. So when the two kind of elders of this thing, you and this guy, are kind of in charge of like how the party goes, and he like somebody suggests that you figure out what the next round is going to be, and you are now on the spot. Give me a roll with invent, actually.
Okay. Oh, Christ.
Oh my
I
God.
cannot.
Hey, it's a 10. It's fine.
Okay. In a moment of like a flash of genius, you kind of realize that the Clanners love stuff that is really, they love stuff that's like hits really hard. and I think you basically realize that you technically have everything on the ship to make some really, really weird Long Island iced teas.
Nice.
Bryn
Or s-
absolutely has like a bottle of like moonshine he picked up for just like some dude
Hell yes.
on the plane. He's never drank any of it because he's afraid of it, but he
Mhm.
has it.
Yes,
So he cracks
absolutely.
that shit out. It's like, okay, this is basically ethanol. However, I have all these mixers.
They are all on board. You are still for now.
Yeah. Before you come
So-
back to Quinn.
Please let me stop rolling.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah.
someone else do something.
Before you come back to Quinn, what's up with Isadora? I'm roleplay some more, Fefner.
How is this Isadora doing?
Isadora would have retreated by now.
Can Coriander like filter some of that fancy beer for her?
Actually, if she's heading back to her would she be heading back to her room?
Yes.
Isadora will run into another party of course. This one's a lot quieter, and they just happen to be kind of going from place to place. Lyra told them about the station. They were just kind of looking at it, and they'll kind of hail you and ask if you know anything about that ship they saw earlier. They're very they're really curious about technology in here in sort of the civilized sphere, and they were curious about how good the ships are here.
I'm guessing they're probably talking about the Aetolith, right?
Yeah, they are talking about the Aetolith.
The Aetolith is the best ship ever. This is Isadora. There's no better ship, says Fefner.
Lol.
The one docked out there, it's pretty solid, though. It's actually from outside Overture itself, so...
That gets them really interested. You mean is it from Cradle?
Halfway, basically.
It's from Bodlin, really.
Have you do people here have they had contact with Cradle?
We get some passing people here and there, from what I understand, but for the most part, me and the rest of the crew of that ship are actually a fairly rare case.
The idea that anyone in the civilized sphere has had Cradle is like telling them that you just casually had contact with I don't know, the ghost of Thomas Jefferson or something. Like they're in just awe. They will want to know anything that Isadora knows about basically anybody who's come from humanity's home. Like anything she knows.
Oh, well, I am actually from Cradle myself.
Do you ever read a situation?
Well, let me see what I have. I don't have read a situation. I've got stay cool, investigate, get somewhere quickly, hacker fix, or spots. I feel
What
like
if she like figures out later by looking it up? We just give it to her now.
Okay.
In the moment when it matters.
Later on, it will kind of become obvious to you.
So use investigate.
Actually,
Okay.
yeah, do an investigate because as soon as you say that, they're gonna start asking some very specific questions. What are you
12.
going for here? Okay, that changed they are now not interested in the ship and they're not interested in the station. They're interested in you. You've run into some of Clan Wolf's basically a cross between historians and bards.
Mm-hmm.
And they treat knowledge about Cradle as being mythical. And you just told them that you just casually knew John the Baptist point. Y'all like played euchre on Fridays. They want to know everything about you, and they are not gonna they're going to bother you with questions until you die.
That's good.
I shall never know freedom.
She also does get her hands on some of that good liquor. Can we just establish that they get her some? They get her a glass or two of that
Oh,
good shit?
absolutely. One
Hell
of them
yeah.
like scurries off just to get
Yeah,
her something to drink.
like this is the good look is being drunk by Bryn, the other guy, like their elder, and no one else. They don't the rubes don't get this shit. This is the good stuff.
We
They-
have
Like
established before, however, that Isadora has managed to swipe good ass alcohol.
No,
from
yeah, you get it. You're not a rube.
like they will like make sure that you like they will get snacks, they will get drink, they are going to camp out wherever you are, anywhere you go.
Yeah, I would love to like hear some lore about Isadora if you want, but that's up to you. Beth, like what kind of stuff does Isadora expose about herself to her new friends?
Does she have anything to share with them that would be interesting actually?
Well, my parents and by extension for a bit, me, ran sort of a flower shop, but on Cradle itself, well, there are a lot of people in the Cradle system, but not to say you have to be a big deal to be on Cradle, but there's a fair bit of expectation, so it wasn't just a flower shop, it was actually a lot of cataloging of both Earth's old plants and what had been discovered within spaces that Union had discovered. So, growing a lot under different conditions depending on the source of it.
That is like incredibly up there. They will 100% be down with that. Any they will just like one of them is taking notes in the back.
Hmm. So I, the player, wouldn't know much about
Yeah.
the subject, but so I'm just going to say that Isadora will just continue going on specifically plant diatribes, just
Mhm.
talking about that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They will explain a little bit of why they're interested if you would like to know.
Sure.
Clanners, so they're telling you this: the clans actually originate in on Cradle itself. A man working in a union office building, and this is at the end of the first union when things are about to go very badly. Just kind of lost it one day. He just got out of he was working in his cubicle, and the next moment he has destroyed his workstation, rampaged across, yelling loudly about, "Oh my god, we're all lotus eating sheep," before jumping out of the second story window onto the floor, onto the street below, and running, screaming about how, "Oh my god, I'm going to die without having lived,"
Mm-hmm.
until he got home and decided to become a wandering like space adventurer, and that's where they come from.
Uh-huh.
So they are incredibly interested about anything they can find about Cradle, because whatever Cradle is, they want to A, not be, but B, kind of perfect.
Hmm.
They see themselves as, what if we did Cradle, but this time it was awesome instead of boring? Because they think that Cradle was boring, not that they know anything about it. They will not so subtly ask you if Cradle is boring.
Well, by your definition, perhaps. I found it rather pleasant. Art is prevalent in Cradle, without any worry of resources. Philosophy and art thrive. I had reasons for leaving, but I suppose it wasn't for want of anything in particular, I guess I could have stayed in Cradle and been happy enough.
Does Cradle have? Are there any warriors on Cradle? Ask eventually at one point.
There are certainly people who boast of power, but typically they're not within the Cradle system itself, more along the edges of Union, a sort of dot here and there within the main system. It certainly has its own military, to be sure. I would say it's more Unions than Cradles, though, if you understand. Cradle is more or less a home, whereas Union is the project, so depending on where you end up, you see different sides of it.
Oh, that absolutely scans with them. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would specifically ask you about Cradle. Do you know if is it true? So like they'll ask you if you know how to get back.
How to get back?
You've
Well,
been talking to them at this point for a while. Before you answer, can you give me an investigate roll?
Alright, so slash roll 1d20 plus, I think my investigate was, yeah, it's 4. 4, so that's a 20. So, yes.
They ask you this and they seem innocent enough, but you get a weird vibe. It's the kind of vibe that, like, you have this almost absurdly this image of what it would be like if you told Quinn about some really cool but extremely dangerous thing you knew she would immediately want to do. You get the feeling that telling them anything about how to get back to Cradle that is making it seem like it's easy or that's very doable is going to have unforeseen consequences.
Well, the good news is I can be honest without getting into that. So, of course, you know of the main Blink Gate. That's been shut down for some time. Without it, there's no particularly easy way. The journey here, of course, on its own is just long. To reach the nearest space to reach the nearest easily accessible space in the territory Union's discovered takes quite a few years. I'm here because we found a particularly lucrative delivery job, and luckily for us, it's led to a lot of other work, but getting back also wouldn't be the easiest thing.
They seem kind of disappointed, but they expected you to say that. Well, I suppose that we can put off the great. We've waited a long time to go back to Cradle and show them. I suppose we can wait a few more years.
Yes, you are cutting out a little bit, just so you know, Ellis, but I think we got basically what that guy just said, or that person just said.
I think your noise gate and Discord is like cutting off too soon or something.
Yeah, let me check that real quick. He basically says that that's what he expected you to say. And they've waited a while to return to they've waited a long time to return and show Cradle what they've learned, so they can wait a few more years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little ominous.
Yeah. Okay. What's going on with Sylvia and Lyra and Josephus?
I still gotta do my actual downtime.
Yeah, and we should do
roll.
our downtimes after that before. Well, actually, I would like to do Quinn's scene with Bryn before downtime, so I want to get to that, but I don't want to interrupt anybody else's role play.
Well, I was gonna get a giant damn drink because I've been kind of railroaded into this. I don't think I have a choice.
Yeah, go ahead and get a damn drink then.
Yeah, actually, go ahead and do that.
You don't add anything to this, right? Oh no, relevant skill triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. What am I gonna add? I don't
Well,
even know. What
I
would I
mean,
add to this?
Well, you just listed off your abilities. I say use
Yeah,
your,
but-
use your empathy.
Yeah, I guess I will. I'll try to integrate myself with these guys.
Empathetic drink.
Mm-hmm. It's an empathetic drink.
All right. Roll a 4.
Okay, that's less. That's not as bad as
Mhm.
previously.
Got a 13. It's good. It's
Anyway,
fine.
there's no roll. Okay, so that's still bad though.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Get a damn drink has rules. We've been doing
Yeah, it's
so
like-
many downtimes that don't really have rules, so.
It's 10 and 19, so what was that? 13?
Yeah,
Get a damn
gain
job
1,
has-
reserve and lose 1.
Get
All right.
your damn job.
I want to. I'm gonna gain a good reputation with them. But I
Alright.
want to lose. I feel like a useful item, a piece of information, is appropriate here because I feel like something gets destroyed on the station that I should have been aware of, but I'm not going to be now.
So,
If possible, what I would like to add that Bryn loses, because it will make my scene cooler. But Jeff, you can say whether or not this happens. In addition to whatever you choose, Alice, I'd like Bryn to tell these guys as these clanners as he gets drunker and drunker more about his traumatic history in the military and more about his service under Quinn's dad, so that these people have that context of understanding what kind of person Quinn's birth father is.
Yeah, I feel like too, like with this dude, like it's not like, at least with Bryn's history with him, because he was like a direct report to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was like a lot of like small bad things, opposed to like one, like he didn't like see him like plug a guy, like just like execute a dude with a gun like in the head or nothing. But like it's all these like little things that like add up to be like, this guy sucks real bad.
Bryn did not serve in Ishvala.
No, of course not.
So Bryn, at some point, he wants to show somebody a thing, and has to go back to his lot. And I think that Bryn forgets his key code,
Well, yeah, he's pretty slosh at this point, probably.
and is very determined to get in there. So I think when he recovers in the morning, Bryn's gonna realize that he's broken his own door lock by basically lasering it to death,
Yep.
and it is
Checks out.
completely busted, and he doesn't know how to fix it,
Well, I don't have a plan to print those.
because there is shockingly not a plan to print a device that was technically not on the ship originally.
Yeah.
Your office is now impossible to fully secure from Quinn.
Oh no.
Oh no, the worst fate.
The worst outcome.
All right, so what's going on with Sylvia and Lyra really quick before I impose Quinn's scene on Jeff?
They'll come out, and Lyra's doing mostly okay. And she'll be down to party. Like she's definitely going to go ahead and join the rest of everyone else and sort of celebrating, because it is technically a celebration about. But she will be super happy. She probably won't comment if Quinn seems dazed, mostly because she just assumes Quinn's super fucking high.
Yeah. But that does get Quinn to snap out of it. And she'll just wave at Lyra as Lyra walks off. But she, like, now that she's kind of snapped out of it, it takes her a moment to, like Sylvia, you know Quinn enough to know, like, she's completely, like something's gotten to her. But she does look at you. And she smiles at you, Sylvia. Lyra has escaped. It says, how'd it go? Like, in regards to whatever went down in that room.
So what did go down in that room? Because all Sylvia did was kind of like walk in and watch Lyra for a while, unless Lyra did something to initiate.
technically speaking, because of what she said before the battle and what that one dude Tigrani said during it, Lyra kind of managed to absolve her sept of its former shame in the same moment that she sort of rescued her own reputation. But her parents are dead already.
Oh.
So they don't, there's no, so, and they're dead because they got exiled mining,
Exiled to a mining colony.
which is where she grew up. And it's kind of, that kind of sucks.
Oh.
So she was just in there sort of like, the pilot's helmet is actually her dad's.
Mm.
And the old Earth style revolver is her mom's.
Mm.
And she was just kind of paying respects there because she doesn't know how to really feel about that entirely yet.
Oh.
And but otherwise she's fine. She was just kind of in there for a little while.
So what does Sylvia tell Quinn about what went down in that room?
So Sylvia kind of like thinks about it for a minute, and she just goes like, "I wouldn't worry about it," and she just doesn't say anything.
But you wouldn't. But I will. But okay. Thanks.
She's just like looks at Quinn. She just goes like, "It's sometimes we just got to take a little extra time to say goodbye to, loved ones lost," and she just leaves it at that.
That hits Quinn a lot harder than
Ooh,
it should
yeah.
have. Quinn actually does like a bit of like a recoil. It's not like as explosive as Freya's was, right? But it's almost like you physically hurt her, like you physically hit her with that. But she just like nods, like she recovers quickly, nods, and stumbles away, and makes her way like with Josephus. Like she just grabs Josephus, right, and makes her way into Bryn's office. It's the party that was with, like, the partiers that were with Bryn. Did they, like, break in with him? Like, is he, like, surrounded by people, or is he alone in there?
I think that this is like, Bryn has very recently destroyed the lock to his office. So I think he's still in there, like, rooting around for whatever trinket he was going to do to prove that he was at X place.
Mm-hmm. That means the person he was probably, like, he's trying to impress is also there. And that's good. So, Quinn stumbles in, right? And, she smiles, like, at, like, a little, like, afraid way at Josephus. And she looks to, and gestures to Bryn and says, "Josephus, this is Bryn. He's basically my dad, but not the way my dad is my dad." And the dude in the room now has that context of who Quinn's birth dad is in comparison to what Quinn is saying about what Bryn is. But
Does
Joseph,
Bryn hear this?
yeah,
Joe?
and Bryn can hear this. Quinn says this
I mean,
aloud.
I imagine he does,
Yeah,
yes.
this is how Quinn introduces her brother to her dad.
You are looking for some old war fucking cool thing once, and this 16-year-old girl gremlin on your ship has declared that you're basically her dad.
Oh no.
But not like her dad, right? But not like Vadim. Some kind of a different kind of dad.
Well, there are all kinds of families, I guess. Quinn, I appreciate that. Maybe let's talk about this when I'm not smashed to hell.
Quinn is also smashed to hell, right?
Very.
How's Josephus react to this?
I think at this point that he's kind of he's gotten the gist that there's something he in on here, but he's glad to meet Bryn anyway because Bryn led the warband that he fought, so he gets Bryn in a just the absolute most vigorous handshake of all time. It makes Bryn mildly sick. It's so vigorous.
crushes my hand. His powerful grip.
You've done well for yourself among this.
I've been trying my best. You know, I mean, you get kicked out of the military, you gotta make your own way. It's been a couple months, really. I mean, we found this. We got this. We took this space station from a bunch of pirates.
Now that's a story he hasn't heard, and he's forced you jovially to recount it to him.
Yeah, and actually,
Oh,
Quinn will
well.
join in. She's gonna like pipe in along the story, so I will give you an advantage on this if you
Oh.
were to make a roll, or I can make the roll for you instead. Like I can do it as
Yeah,
I
why
can
don't
do
you?
it-
Why don't you take the lead
Yeah,
in this one?
I can do it. Like Quinn will say, "Oh, can I, Bryn? Like, can I do it? Can I tell?"
Yes.
Okay,
He gestures at you.
Let's do a show off roll. And I will narrate this really quickly, but then I have to like move on
Yes.
to the next.
Please,
next,
just
the next-
as long as I don't have to roll anymore. Thank God.
Hell yes! And
13.
hold on, I have to roll my 1d6 because I'm doing this as a celebrity, as somebody who knows how to spin a tale. Yes!
Dang, that's a 19 overall.
They are enraptured. Like you've told the best fucking story. How do you tell this story?
What I want to establish, I don't want to speak too much because I have a big long roleplay scene I'm going to bully Fefner into here in just a moment. But what the difference between how Quinn used to be and how Quinn is now is what I want to establish. Where before, when Quinn would have told the story, she would have made it all about her and how awesome she is. Now it's almost like she doesn't even exist in the story. And she's talking more about how cool Bryn was when they retook the
no.
Flavor Town.
Why are you doing this to me?
How awesome Isadora was when fighting to take back the Flavor Town. Like how the
Is
cool.
Isadora even there?
No, but she's saying this in front of Bryn, right? Bryn can see her the change in Quinn's character, his influence on her as a father, right? Right here in front of him.
Butterfly.
Yeah. As you taught her to oh god, what's the word? Decenter herself, right? So she's, and again, like how cool Lyra was, how great Sylvia was, everything they did, and it's like she barely mentions anything she did. If anything, she mentions like the mistakes she made. Right, that's what she centers. Right, is I blew a hole in the thing. That was dumb. She doesn't talk about like her exploits, like the cool things she did retaking the Flavor Town at all. Right?
They love this. This is like you kind of inadvertently, in the same way that Quinn wants to understand Kovan's culture.
Mm-hmm.
You've kind of stumbled into something that's really important, which is the ability to tell a story really well.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the tipping point. I do have a small narrative asset to give Bryn and you at the end of the thing
Okay.
at some point. So whenever that's convenient, tell me.
Okay, cool.
But that's gonna cinch it.
And then after she finishes that, I guess does Bryn say no, Quinn, like you did good? Like does he dad back, or does he just let Quinn say I sucked and like get away with that?
He wouldn't say he'd let you say you sucked. I mean, you did make a tactical error, but like that happens to everybody.
Yeah. So he dads back, and that just makes that makes Quinn so happy. And she actually kind of tears up a little bit at that, but then she just like shakes it off and smiles and says, "Oh, this is awkward, and I'm gonna actually talk to the girls about this." But she gestures to herself. She's like, we're not gonna be weird about this, but she's developing, so she needs to literally comb her tits. So I gotta sort this out. I'll see you later. So she'll head out and just leave you there with Josephus. Josephus, I'll hang out with you later. I gotta go talk to girls about girl things. And she's gonna bust in on Isadora, where Isadora has been regaling them about whatever, and say, "Hey, Mom, how do you measure breasts?"
The historians will, at this point, that they're probably not going to get anything. And no matter how much you might want them to save you, they will not save you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I should have saved Newman for that, but oh my god.
We can just gloss over that. All I know is like, does Isadora mom back? Like, does Isadora say, "I will explain to you how to get your breast size, and we'll print you out a bra, and we'll work through this"?
Isadora's too high for this tonight. She is high and she's been talking about her youth. This is the point where she just slides back into her room, locks the door, and falls onto the bed.
Okay, I'll guess I'll talk to you later then.
One of the Clanner historians, who is a woman, will slip her a data pad a little bit after this. It is one of the. It's basically a whatever the Clanner equivalent of a So you're having puberty then, loaded on it. It is ridiculously over the top. Like, this is written for people who were space Spartans, and it's super obvious. You may be wanting to engage in deeds of grave violence. You should embrace this.
So helpful. Yeah. Quinn doesn't interpret this as Isadora like rejecting the mom, right? Rejecting mom, this more like Isadora just being done, right? Like Isadora overwhelmed, right? So she doesn't take this the wrong way. But yeah, Quinn accepts the propaganda pamphlet of becoming a violent prepubescent teenager from the Clanners, and she stumbles off so we can have that so she settles into her room, right? She just lets everybody know like she's done for the day, she's tired. And actually she is. She's really, really tired. Because, you know, throughout all this, she's been acting on like adrenaline, right? Because she's been barely sleeping these past few days getting the matchmaker done. Like, she's gotten maybe like 4 hours of sleep in the past, 3 days. She's exhausted. And also
that's the Jenner experience.
She's exhausted. And also like that psychedelic, the shrooms that she ate. You told me that they will make you exhausted after they wear off. So that's compounded on top of her pre-existing exhaustion. She'll
probably still be hyper-focused.
Right, and so what I want to establish, like, those few days in between, like burning herself out on the matchmaker, she's been having these conversations with Kovanen, the kind of conversations that Svava suggested she have with her. Normal, regular person conversations about regular person things, right? Like fashion, food, etc. And, like, we can roleplay those out later if you want, Fafnir, but, like, basically what I'm establishing is, like, for the most part, those conversations go better because they're not about things that traumatize Kovanen. They're not about things that will help Meliora, like, get insight into Kovanen that she can use to manipulate her more. They're not things that expose Kovanen to risk or threat or danger. So Kovanen can, like, be open about, like, talking about those things. Now, Quinn will learn things from Kovanen from these conversations, like that Kovanen's lost her parents, that Kovanen's, like, her, like, these things like that. But ultimately, like, I do want to actually have the conversation where Quinn and Kovanen agree to dress up for Halloween in character as a longer scene. But one of the conversations they have when they're talking about fashion is this idea that, like, fashion is not, like, that even the fancy, stupid, silly stuff that Quinn would wear when she's, like, being a celebrity, like, being being bougie, is just as practical and useful as the kind of clothes that Kovanen prefers, which are more like, don't get caught in snares and don't, like, make yourself visible, because otherwise you'll get annihilated by people who are out to kill you, right? So yeah, and then, like, in that, like, they kind of make this, like unspoken but also spoken agreement that they'll try, like, each other's attires, styles, like, try new things, and additionally, like, Halloween is coming up, like, Quinn will be the one to bring that up to her, right? And, like, we should just, like, do a thing, like, let's dress up for Halloween, and Kovanen will agree, and so those are nicer conversations they have, right? So they're nicer. Sometimes they're not as good. Ultimately, they are frustrating, though, because, like, Quinn wants to have closer conversations with Kovanen than even these, right? And they still are getting occasionally into arguments, and that's why, like, in between those 3 days, just 2 to 3 days, she keeps, like, burning herself on the matchmaker, because the matchmaker will open up that ability to have those more open conversations with Kovanen that she wants, right? And then, like, she does get those plans to Svava, right? And Svava prints out like the matchmaker, but she doesn't get it set up. But she does get enough of like a rudimentary like skeleton of the matchmaker setup that like she, you know, can finally like, start drawing Kovanen away so they can at least have like more personal than the current personal conversations that they're having, right? So, because it's difficult again for the Deliverance to get on the Ike siren. The main issue is like getting Kovanen to agree to partake in this, right?
Mhm.
So what Svava does is she gets Velius to like go talk to Kovanen while Kovanen's on duty. And Velius will tell her, hey, did you know, just as a thing that I'm mentioning to you completely for no reason, that you're allowed here on the rules to have an hour-long break a day, and you should start taking those? You know, to talk to the soldiers, wander the parks, visit the shrines, and accept invitations from other people, things like that, you know? So you don't burn out. We worry about you, Kovanen. And then he just, like, gives her a wave and walks off. And Kovanen, like, agrees, like, to do it, to take the hour-long breaks occasionally. And then, like, the very next day, Svava invites Kovanen to come play Uno with her on the Ike Soren. And Kovanen agrees to do it. She has no idea that she's about to get pounced on by this bullshit.
The Xbox has Uno.
Yeah.
Everyone has Uno.
Yeah. So Kovanen walks in on the Ike Soren, meets Svava on the Ike Soren, and Svava announces, I actually don't have Uno.
I don't even know what Uno is. I assumed it was a
Motherfucker.
Nimish
Get
thing.
her.
And Svava says, I'm more shy than Nimish anymore.
You know, Auntie, we don't have a word for non-shy people because anyone can be one of us if they put in the efforts. That's why you're a juror. But we don't want assimilation, or at least I don't. You can stay a Nimish and be one of the people too.
I know that, Niesling. My lack of Nimishness are the consequences of my actions and choices. I am happy y'all took me in.
Well, you made the effort with us. You could make it with them too. Something to think on, maybe?
Oh, you're giving me advice now? Thanks for the key, kid. I'll think on it. Now, take your own advice, Kovanen. Make an effort with Quinn.
Okay.
And so Kovanen settles in and calls her up. And Sava just like looks and smiles, right? And
Kovanen speaking.
Quinn answers, and yeah. Swava waves and just leaves the screen, like waves at the screen, and then like walks away. And Quinn waves back, and then she directs her attention to Kovanen. Hey, new backdrop. I put a filter over these conversations, so folks patching in will just hear hellish noise. Now, they can take the filter off, like they can take time to do it. It would take months, but still, we still gotta take precautions.
It's a start. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, we've been fighting sometimes. I want it to stop. So I'm gonna do what I can on my end to stop it, or at least reduce the incidences of it. I had a talk with Mom some time ago, and she told me actions speak louder than words. So I want to apologize for that idiocy with the clanners. You know, that I know that words are nice, but ultimately they're just words if there's no action to back them up. So beyond saying I'm sorry, I'm going to start showing you I'm sorry too. I didn't know you had those issues around those kinds of things. But that doesn't excuse me for my actions. I still hurt you. And I shouldn't have been so reckless either way. I'm going to be more careful going forward. Before I introduce stuff I think will hurt you, I'll ask, and if I am hurting you, just ask me to stop and I'll do my best, okay?
Okay. You're forgiven.
Good. Thank you, Kovanen. And she's using her full name on purpose now. Do you know how to read? And Kovanen notes that Quinn isn't calling her Kova, and she has mixed feelings about that. It doesn't like that she has mixed feelings about that.
Yeah, I learned how to read. I know how to read a few languages.
Do you read often?
I didn't really have the time to read often. I guess technically I have it now, though.
Do you enjoy reading?
It's preferable to many things I can do.
You're always so guarded. Were you always like this? Never mind. The reason I brought it up is because this thing you do with messages within messages and stuff, it's neat. and I want to establish a common context with you through a form of a book I read when I was 14. It's called Watership Down. It's by Richard Adams. It's a story about some rabbits. They're trying to make a better world for themselves. It reminds me a lot of our situation. There's some similarities, specifically the part of the book that I think is the darkest part.
Of course, the darkest part would remind you what you perceive to be our situation.
The brighter parts could too. I definitely want them to. At one point in the book, the rabbits, they're all male, they realize they have no women, and so they'd go extinct, and they decide to liberate some of the female rabbits. And they're proud and misogynistic, so they refuse to go along with the girls' efforts to participate in their own liberation, and almost gets them all killed. But the girls save themselves anyway, thanks to the distraction the boys are making, and they hightail it off. And the boys catch up with them and try and chum it up with them, but the girls want nothing to do with them because they're assholes. And it's only after the boys start being genuinely nice and start treating the girls with respect and kindness, treating them as equals, that the girls warm up to them. And look, I'm a girl, and I've always been a girl, and that's not changing. But I have been a real asshole to you. So I want to show you I'm done being an asshole. Because you've been nice to me sometimes, even though I've been a real dick.
I see.
So she sends over the PDF. So here's the book. There's also a book of like the lore Richard Adams made. I included that too. It's a bunch of short stories and such. And Covenant's bemused.
You're extending me Alia. Absurd.
And she accepts the file.
I'll find the time to read it.
What's Ellie? Never mind. I'm gonna talk to you about video games. Because Cowslip and Woundwort probably don't know about video games. You'll get those references when you read the book.
I don't know about video games either.
Right, but you're about to learn about video games. Oh, before that, Kovanen. Is it okay if I call you Kova? And Kovanen bulks.
Are you sure you don't know what you're doing?
What do you mean? And Kovanen's like skepticism, like she's disbelieving.
This can't be on accident. It can't be coincidence. It's too coincidental. Unnervingly so. Do you know more than you're letting on? Has your mother told you anything?
And like Quinn goes, oh, I do know something more, but I can't reveal it here, can I?
No, you can't.
I swear to you, what I know isn't something that's leading me to do whatever it is you think I'm doing. I know a thing about you, but I don't know what it means yet. Not enough to inform my actions anyway. I'm doing this because I read a relationship advice book. By John
We're
Gottman.
not.
Yeah, go
We're
ahead.
not in a relationship.
And Quinn, Quinn's hurt by that, and she's unable to mask it. But we are. I consider us friends, Kovanen, and friendship is a relationship. And yeah, the book I read was intended for romantic relationships, but it'll work in this one too. And Kovanen is stricken by how clear Quinn's injury was at what she said, and she has mixed feelings about that.
What advice from the book are you following?
The book says that coming up with cute pet names is a relationship enhancement thing. Both partners, in this case friends, she emphasizes that, right, should be okay with the pet names, otherwise the names don't enhance the relationship. I want to grow our friendship, enhance our relationship, so I should check my cute pet name by you.
Do you want a pet name from me in return?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't, but you don't have to. You know what? Look, never mind. I'll just call you Kovanen like you asked me to forever, and Kovanen interrupts her.
Call me Kova.
What?
It's okay if you call me Kova, Dia.
And like she's confused and her heart is pounding. What are you doing?
It's called POS. You're expressing POS. I'm returning your POS. We're in Alia and exchanging POS.
What?
You want to be wary with me? I'm okay with that, Dia. Dia's okay, right?
I don't understand at all, but yeah, Dia's okay.
Okay, so, tell me about video games. I've got about 12 minutes before I have to go, though, okay?
Sure, I'll set a timer. and like we can improv that as you want. We can do this later, but basically, like, Quinn tells Kovanen about video games, specifically about Undertale. She tells Kova about all the characters, and she outlines their story arcs and stuff, and she explains, like, Sans is a pun-making, time-traveling skeleton guy who became a meme. And then she has to explain what memes are, but Kovanen understands what memes are, right?
He doesn't travel through time, Jenner. He doesn't travel through time. That's not how it works.
Right? Quinn's not getting
Don't
it right.
lie to me.
Yeah.
Brent
Right?
just breaks in to explain Sans Undertale.
Yeah. Quinn explains what a meme is to Kovanen, but Kovanen understands what memes are because the Shy have them too, right? And then Quinn like tells her like who Papyrus is, like he's a huge lovable goofball who reminds Quinn of Kovanen. And then she tells her about Undyne, that Undyne is a cool gay fish lady who also reminds her even more of Kovanen. And then like she talks about like other characters, and specifically like she talks about she goes through all the characters, like, and she talks about the storylines. So she mentions like Alphys and like what Alphys did and stuff like that. Kovanen pays attention like, through this entire thing, right? So it just goes over all these characters and all these storylines and etc. Right? It's basically what she says. And
This
like,
has to be super abbreviated because how do you explain Undertale in 12 minutes?
right, exactly. Like she's going really fast. Ultimately, like she circles back around to how Undyne is gay, and she's like, wait, because Undyne reminds her of Kovanen, are you gay? And Kovanen has to respond in like this kind of, I am gay, but not for you, you baka, right? That's very Tsundere, like, I do not have feelings for you, I swear, right? So, like, yeah, ultimately, like, this conversation exchanges that Kovanen largely thinks that the hopeful message of Undertale is pleasant enough escapism, and that makes Quinn decide not to tell her about the genocide route, because Kovanen would just be like, yeah, that's more like reality, and Quinn doesn't like it when Kovanen gets all edgy. But since Kovanen wants to exchange Pas with Quinn, in order to, like, honor the Alia they're in, and, like, Pas is, like, this exchange of caring for each other, and Elia's a fellowship. You'll learn that from the Ashai message. She'll tell Quinn about Jera, which is also her invoking the concept of Jera, which is, I need to leave soon. And so, Fafnir, like, you can flavor this however you want, but I wrote down basically what the gist of it is, if you want.
Yeah, I might want to summarize. You'd probably be a bit better at this than me.
What Kova says is that when a drought and a plague struck the Gentle Lands, Jera, the individual, led the people up the Larkspur River and found temporary fruitful lands to tide the people over until the Gentle Lands recovered. But she did not lay foot upon those temporary lands. She claimed she had to go, and the people allowed her to leave, and it's presumed she went back to the Gentle Lands to exchange Pas with them, alone, to help them recover. After a few years, the people returned to the Gentle Lands and found them recovered, which they attribute to Jera. And then, like, the timer goes off as she explains this. She tells Quinn this story. And Quinn actually ends the conversation on her end instead of, like, how all their conversations have ended before with Kovanen, like, hanging up on her, right? And, like, bids Kovanen farewell and tells her that hopes that they'll speak again soon. And what that does is she accidentally honors Kovanen's invocation of Jera, which is that I need to go. And that doesn't go unnoticed by Kovanen. So Quinn is accidentally abiding by Kovanen's cultural principles, not even knowing it. And that'll be the end of that discussion. Thanks, Beth. And then, like they just end the conversation, and that's the end of my roleplay for this. So you wanted to pounce Bryn on something on Quinn and Bryn, Alice, before we end this.
She stepped aside for just a moment. Let me grab her.
Does anybody else have any roleplay they want to do? Thanks.
Yeah, have we all done our downtime?
Yeah, let's do our downtime.
I don't think
Yeah.
we have.
You've done get a damn drink. Isadora did her thing, I think, right?
I
Did
have
you-
read Coriander.
Yeah.
I think the only two of us who haven't like officially done downtime roll are me and Alice, and me only because Sylvia's downtime is just going to be the surgery happens sometime between the end of this session and the beginning of next session.
Okay, so what kind of role is that? I guess like power to cost or like.
Well, it's not really a roll. It's literally just paying off power at cost because she actually has the materials this time.
Okay.
Yeah, you got everything.
All right, but you should get yourself a perk from your downtime action. So do something else. Get something on your sheet
Well,
from this.
Yeah, well, let me grab Alice so she can do the narrative thing real fast, and
Okay.
then I will absolutely do that.
All right.
You have two of the DMs here also.
Yeah, we have
Also,
Yeah.
work out something that like Default and Lyra could do for that earlier role, because like that was really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, let me grab her real fast.
Yeah.
Alice is back. Related. Moon's haunted.
Nice.
Okay, so I do have a thing. Bryn, Quinn, and Isadora.
Okay, cool. So, like, after Quinn finishes that conversation with Kavannon, she feels pretty good. That went pretty well. She doesn't realize how actually very, very well that went, right? That went basically perfectly.
And this happened like a little while after the party, right?
Yeah, just shortly after the party, right after she sobered up, yeah.
All right, so you get a knock at your door. Isadora just hands you a sheet with an outline of what to do for puberty. On the back it says, "Please
Please-
don't call me mom."
Please tell me it's like a wiki house with really inexplicable
Actually,
things.
could you do that? Could Isadora introduce Default to the idea that WikiHow is a thing that exists?
I gotta imagine the evolution of WikiHow art over the course of like
Yeah,
2,000
yeah,
years.
brainstorm in here when Isadora mentions WikiHow and like get excited about WikiHow. Let's have this
Absolutely
scene.
not. Do not put that on me.
Oh god, how do I introduce WikiHow into this universe?
Oh my god.
It's actually the same, but just like the art is even weirder now.
Quinn is like when you mention like there's a thing called WikiHow that you could go to too, and like Quinn gets really excited about the idea that WikiHow exists, and she checks it out. She's like, "Thank you," and she like reads the back where it says "Stop calling me mom," and she internalizes that. She accepts it immediately. Thank you, Isadora. She'll stop calling you mom. Pet names have to be accepted from both people if the relationship is going to be enhanced.
I guess I'm flattered you think of me like that, but please. Technically speaking, I'm old enough to be everybody's great-grandmother. I don't want to think about that either.
I get it. Thanks. Hey, the GM wants to do something with me, you, and Bryn, and I don't know how to segue to that in character, but
Oh, it's not a scene or anything.
okay. So what do you want to establish between like the three of them?
Y'all all have a similar. Basically, I'm giving you a GM fiat boon.
Okay.
The Clanners, this particular bit of Clanners will leave the space eventually. They're actually going to hang out on the planet for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But the clans have actually started moving cautiously more into the center of Overture
Mm-hmm.
and are doing so actively, which they will all kind of tell you at some point, mention, because things are happening and they're curious.
Mm-hmm.
And from this point onwards, you all have a gift. If you are in serious trouble on a mission, you can call for backup from before a bit. Like you can have retconned that you called in a favor for a single clanner mech to be basically an ally NPC on a mission.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
I like it. That's cool. I will
Basically, one of the rifle wolves. Basically,
Yeah, I'm gonna blow that instantly. No, I'm joking. Thank you. Cool. Nice. Yay.
they like you, and you with the clan Exodus, especially Isadora, who everyone is a buzz about because they were not aware that anyone from Cradle had been in Overture in a very long time.
Yeah, and so ending the scene between Isadora and Quinn says, like, puts the stuff aside, thanks Isadora, and says, are you like a hugger? Are you down for hugs? Are we not in a hugging place?
All right.
And
All right.
Quinn gives her a
I know
hug. And she's way taller than Isadora. And then, like, lets her go and says, I'll see you around. Thank you. It's good having you here with me. With all of us, actually. And she's like, smiles. I actually gotta go tell Sylvia something. I'll see you around.
See ya.
And so she'll
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you. And she'll go and find Sylvia. Where is fucking Sylvia?
That is a legitimately good question. So after the party,
Is Quinn gonna learn what
Alice-
sex is? Is Quinn gonna learn what sex is? Don't do this to me!
no, she's probably not. Sylvia would be way too chill after that party.
Jenner.
Don't do it!
Alice, this is technically Sylvia's last night, narratively, before she goes off to get surgery, so I think Sylvia would legitimately be spending it either in Lyra's room or trying to entice Lyra to come sit in hers and, like, I don't know, cuddle and talk about, like, fucking clan shit.
Did you know that clanners have movies? Because they do.
Yes!
So,
Oh my god, that's perfect!
I think, like, do it in Sylvia's room, because, like, that's the place that Quinn will think to look for Sylvia, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sylvia basically has just set up her bed. She's got Tank in the middle of the two of them. Lyra just kicking back on the bed. And what are Clanner movies like?
They're watching Clanner anime. What is Clanner anime?
Clanners do actually know what anime is.
Anime.
They do know what anime is. They're really big fans of Shonen. But I think that she actually has a. I think that she has every movie that Kurosawa ever made.
Nice.
They're just watching Sandero.
Yes.
Nice.
I love this.
So Quinn, like, busts in on them cuddling, watching anime. And she realizes what's going on. And is like, oh, like, she's about to leave. But she's
Sylvia
really...
will actually, like, go like, oh, hey, you know, we're kind of having a little moment here, but I was gonna talk to you later. Do you want to come in for a minute? It's a good movie.
I don't want to interrupt your moment. I wanted you to know I had a moment like yours, too. I'll see you around. And she just, like,
Oh, wait,
scares...
wait,
nope, she's gone!
Like, Sylvia is, like, actually gonna flail and almost fall out of the bed. Lyra has to, like, pull her back on.
We'll talk about it later!
Wait, what? What happened?
And we'll do that as a pilot log if you want. But yeah, Quinn escapes. No, she doesn't want to ruin this for... In fact, she'll close the door and she'll hack it so you're locked in there with Lyra. You can't...
Oh my god. Sylvia's just, like, sitting there looking at Lyra and going, like, I can probably fix this, but we're stuck in here tonight, and I don't know. Oh,
It's okay. Have you ever seen the movie?
see the movie what? Escape from New York.
Because I have that.
Sylvia just lights up at the mention of this film and just goes like, "Yes, can we watch it after this one?"
Absolutely.
She's just actually delighted.
Yeah, Quinn heads back to her room, and at this point, like, the exhaustion has really, like, finally taken its hold on her, right? She just, like, collapses in the bed, and she's out. And that'll be the end of roleplay from me. Does anybody else have anything? Are we ending it here?
The only thing that I know that we have to address is the surgery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That and the mech, like, how we leveled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So, narratively, as far as the surgery goes, Fef, you're kind of like my point on this, because these are your NPCs that Sylvia's kind of going with. I'm thinking she just kind of gets up very early the next morning. This is like a day or so after she's sobered up, so hopefully all of that heinous shit she had with the Clanners is out of her system by now, and if it's not, she's going to need to purge it. But she makes her way, you know, over to wherever they've set up to do this, and just kind of goes like...
So I think you actually go over to Maria's office, and she's actually just there looking kind of nervous, not really looking towards you as you enter.
And Sylvia's just like, is something wrong?
Sylvia, oh yes, we're doing the operation soon, aren't we?
Sylvia just kind of like puts her hand on her shoulder and goes like, yes. Are you okay?
I've just suddenly gotten hit by a bit of anxiety.
Sylvia just kind of. Oh, well, no pressure.
Uh, God, I feel like I've been a bit dishonest here. So the reason, or the main reason, this is off the books is I'm not actually an officially licensed doctor.
Whoops.
Oh,
Oops, all crime.
well, neither was whoever put this in me in the first place, I'd imagine.
You're oddly calm about this.
I'm gonna make it. I got something to go back to.
Oh.
And she will not elaborate further than that.
She's got quite a bit to go back to. It's cool.
She kind of smiles a little bit. Well then, okay. Right. Got the knowledge. Right. Yes, this is just an operation. Extremely illegal operation.
The two illegalnesses cancel each other out mathematically. I checked it.
Yeah, she's undoing a crime.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good, right?
That's good.
So yeah, if you do any other reassuring, or are we just gonna get into it?
Yeah, Sylvia's gonna. There is one last bit of reassurance. Sylvia's just gonna, like, sit down and go, like, so, Maria, I don't know you all that well. We haven't really had a chance to hang out much, but I do want you to know that I've been I haven't really had a chance to travel much, but in all the time I have been doing this, you were legitimately the first person to offer to take care of this for me without asking questions. And the first one to offer to do it without asking for more money than I could possibly pay back. For
Aww.
whatever it's worth, I'm grateful no matter what happens.
She'll smile. Right. Okay, so shall we?
Take me to the operating table, Doc. And Sylvia's just gonna go like, all right, here we go. Going under to, like, get some knives in my back, no pressure.
So yeah,
Fellas,
she
is
does
it gay to go on?
is it gay to perform an operation?
It's a gay to perform a surgical procedure.
Fellas,
I'm sorry, please continue.
I mean, you're basically getting something inserted into you.
She's not wrong, but there's a
so-
little more nuance here.
Cass.
Started it.
So yeah, I think Maria and Zoe both go in because Zoe's there for the mechanical bits of it. Also, since Maria's a fox girl, do animal surgeons need like a full body hairnet?
Technically, yeah.
I haven't thought this through.
You know, furries have this problem a lot. So, yeah, it's usually yes. Unless you want to
so
invent,
yeah,
like, unless you want to, like, establish some kind of space magic, yes.
Let's just not worry about
Yeah,
this
let's not worry
detail. It
about
doesn't
these
matter.
details. It's
He
not-
has
it's
like
not-
that suit that just like hangs out on your body, so it's probably one of those.
Let's just get this done. It's fine. We don't need
Just
to do that.
operates covered by a bed sheet.
Do not get infected by me and do this much world building. Just let's get to it.
So yeah, surgery happens, and I think most of the afternoon passes. It's probably evening by the time Sylvia wakes up.
Nice. She woke up.
And
Oh, well, yep.
you're not dead. Congratulations! I didn't just
Yay.
kill your
Toot!
spider.
Yep.
Toot.
So the first response she has on waking up is gonna be like to try and is she laying on her back when she wakes up?
Yes.
She's gonna like sit there for a minute and go like something feels weird. She it first attributes that to like whatever, hella anesthetic she's been under. And then she realizes, oh, that's what laying on my back feels like. Oh, right. And she kind of manages very carefully to kind of pull herself up just a little bit, trying hard not to strain. And she
Mhm.
just kind of looks around and goes like, gently moves a hand up to like the base of her back where she could kind of just feel the jack before. And so, do you have a way to do you want to narratively describe this, or as player should I get the priority here? I
You
will
get it.
let you make
Alright.
that call.
It's your character, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, how's the jack like before?
So before this thing was the visual reference I use for it is basically a much gnarlier version of the Elia Vijana system from Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, which is basically just a big stonking. Theirs is like a thing that you actually like attach to a smaller thing, but Sylvia's was just permanently welded on. Just a big stonking chrome bump sticking out of her back with ports to connect into her mech. And that has been sheared mostly away. There's still some evidence of like there's stuff connected to her spine that obviously like they could not get all of off, but they were able to safely take that big protrusion
The
and
jacks
cut
are
it down.
definitely there still.
Yeah, they've cut it down to essentially just this small little thing that her skin will eventually just heal over and probably won't even be that visible. It'll look like maybe she has a really bad
Hmm.
and she's sitting kind of like wishing she had a mirror and has this moment of like, oh, it's over now. And she just starts happy crying in the room because she fucking lived.
Yay!
She was not, despite all intents and appearances, actually sure that was going to happen.
The Final Fantasy X-2 victory pamphlet.
But yeah, like, as someone who gets Charlie horses every once in a while, I know that like there are just certain ways you move your body that like kind of fuck you up, but like you kind of realize that you have been moving in ways you haven't before and it's not quite messing you up as much.
Aw.
There's
Yeah.
definitely like a bit of soreness here and there, but like you don't have to be like as cautious.
And Sylvia's just like, I fucking made it. And she's so kind of excited about this, she almost stumbles out of bed and forgets that her legs still don't work quite right and just ends up like on all fours up on the bed. Has to like hoist herself back up, look for the railing, and go like, oh shit, where's my hard suit? I need to like get out and thank Maria. And after a few minutes of like lucidity, she goes like, oh right, I probably shouldn't be moving now, should I?
Yeah,
And then she just lays back down.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I've not felt this good in a while.
Good, good.
Worked?
Yes, well, I do have the know-how. It's just, boy, does not having a piece of paper sometimes kind of mess you up.
For what it's worth, you're the best doctor I think I've ever met.
Aw.
I'm going to go back to sleep now because I feel really good, but also I haven't slept on my back in like 10 years. And
Yes, and it's been a few hours. You need more sleep for certain.
oh, I'm gonna do that. And Sylvia's like just barely loose. She's like, is there anything I can do for you guys?
Well, quite frankly, the Hex Girls have been doing quite a bit. We've had a whole lot of money lately, thanks to you. Delivery jobs haven't stopped, so I would say you've already done plenty.
Oh, good. If you ever need someone to get beat up, I'll take care. And Sylvia's just already out.
I
Nice.
would do a murder for you if you need. I've done them before.
Hopefully, this is the last in-character murder for a while.
Other than the ones we'll be doing, in mission.
Oh yeah, like Sylvia has absolutely killed at least one person without meaning to.
She just writes a little note that says, ring bell when you want a meal with a little smiley face next to it. And just puts it down on the table next to her, puts down a glass of water, and leaves.
Oh, yay!
We did it.
We did it. We role played, everybody.
Hold on. One thing we almost forgot. I have to make the roll for the
Oh
Hex
yeah,
Girls.
you have to do the Hex
Oh
Girls.
yeah, we got a business.
You have a business to run. Take that.
Business.
I would say take 2d6 advantage on this because you just had a cool party that everybody the clanners are going to tell the story about, right? So take the highest of 2d6 advantage.
Literally just a little notification. Everyone liked that.
Yeah, everyone's telling the stories of how good the parties that bring the
Wait,
the Hex
shouldn't it
Girls
be
throw.
+4 in both of these, not +2? Because I got that crit last time, right?
Yes.
I think it's I lost my sheet, is why. So.
Oh yeah. So I think
to
you
remake
were
it.
at +4 for one, +2 to a different one because you don't usually focus on.
Yes, that's probably what it was. So I'm at +4 efficiency, +2 influence. I think. No, opposite.
All right. So I would say you probably
roll
want to
influence.
roll efficiency since this is just actually no influence because you've been hanging out with people.
Oh, god damn it.
5. That's not great.
Hold
Okay,
on.
you do get the 2d6. Come on. Oh no.
Whoa.
Well, 5
10.
plus 8. Yeah. Oh,
No,
5
that's
plus
5
5
plus 5, so
is 10. Yeah. Barely got that 10.
All right. +2 efficiency or influence to a maximum of +6.
Okay.
Probably influence this time around because of the nature of how this one raised.
Mhm.
Well, I don't lose anything, thank god.
Yeah.
Okay. I have influence. All those clanners are spreading our accolades now because I told them all the stories.
Mm-hmm. You and
And
Quinn
they'll just
told him
they'll
all
just
sorts of
they'll
stories.
tell stories, and it just spreads around,
Mm-hmm.
and it just gets more. It gets bigger every time it gets retold. Because that's how things go.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe too big. Oops.
Mm-hmm. I guess the main thing, the Deliverance mission isn't next, but Bryn does get notification from, first from Svava, from rulesrat at spacemail.gay, who is Svava, who informs him that she's worked some things out behind the scenes, and she's gonna make sure that the next mission you go on for Deliverance is a Wooloo mission. You're gonna be doing it for her anti-fascist group. She names the group. You now know what the group's name is. And it's going to be with some people who she calls Ashai, and she doesn't define what that is. She just uses this word. Are going to be there. And just, it's going to be like a training exercise, propaganda thing for Deliverance. That's what Deliverance thinks they're doing, image rehab, because you've been doing a really good job of making the Hex Girls like a brand, something that Deliverance would want to be associated with, right? And Deliverance has a bit of a bad reputation because they've been being fascist. So they want to image rehab through you doing this performance thing. But what it is really, and Svava tells you this, is a ritual. She's sending Quinn on a ritual so Quinn stops being a stupid fucking kid. And just help out, okay? One parent to another, please. Right? Do your best. And shortly after that email, you'll actually get the official email from Kavana that says, you're going to be sent to do some propaganda. And it's, again, from the Juno email address that she uses when she's telling you the secret of this. I don't know what's going on. I'm not happy about this. I don't like rehabilitating Deliverance's image. So, I don't know, flick off, moon the camera or something, right? She's not happy. But then she has to send you the official, thing of, come, do a tactical exercise with some units of ours, show us what you got, we'll show you what we got. It'll be fun, right? From Kovanen. right? So that'll be the Deliverance mission. That's not our next combat mission. Our next combat mission is a Boundless mission. So yeah. But you just get that forewarning, and you can prepare for that however you want. But that's basically the general information you get. So yeah. Now Mex, who wants to do the level up first?
I'll
Alice
go real
had-
quick because
Okay.
it'd be other main thing.
Okay.
I increased empathy. I took another level in, I don't know, some mech, SSH mech, so I can get the core bonus, which I got. What the fucking bonus I get? I don't remember. I think I got the one that I can walk in any terrain and I have magnetic clamps on my feet or something. I think.
Mhm.
No, I got the bar plating, so I get +1 on agility checks and saves. Yeah, I can climb this at normal speed, ignore different terrain, and I can jump my full speed.
Nice.
Okay, that's it. I'm done. Bye.
Nice.
Sylvia, do you want to go next?
Yeah, actually, because Sylvia got thematic upgrades
Yeah.
all around for a lot of things. So just pull her pilot sheet back up because I pulled it down to check what I'd done with her mech to make sure that I did what I wanted to do with it. So Sylvia's trigger that it got improved is take someone out. She now gets a +6 to kill or disable someone quickly and quietly. That was originally, I think, a +2 in the previous session. I actually had to drop one of older triggers for that, and I forget which one it was. She now has a +6.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. You got the thing you got now.
Narratively, it does not matter. I don't think she ever used it. She has +6 to make someone's life be over.
Well, what a coincidence.
Which will-
I have a couple NPCs who are also just as good at that skill as you are.
Oh boy.
Let's do some contested rolls later.
Oh boy. So Sylvia also has a few other things going on. So she dropped her executioner talent entirely, even though that's been very cool. Just take all 3 ranks in Brawler.
Nice.
So previously Brawler was just you gain +1 accuracy on all melee attacks against targets you are grappling. She still has that. Now she also has your improvised attacks gain knockback 2 and deal 2d6 +2 kinetic damage, which is, I think, better than the best melee weapon option for heavy slot. And she gains a Brawler die, 1d6 starting at 6. Every time you grapple, ram, or make an improvised attack, lower the value of the die by 1. When it reaches 1, you may reset it to 6, and as a full action, make a knockout blow against an adjacent character. They must pass a hull save or take 2d6 +2 kinetic damage and become stunned until the end of their next turn. Just counts down until she uppercuts someone and just rabbit punches them out. Also, that means she's useful even if literally every mount gets blown, which I've been worried about since this character was created. As far as the other Big Mech thing, she has the full subjectivity sync now. It's an ability I've been eyeing since I made her. That was what her
Heck
neural
yeah.
jack was supposed to do. The flavor is not that she got an actual subjectivity sync. The flavor is Sylvia's been piloting this thing on heavy-ass painkillers. She is no longer taking quite as many anymore. So she can
You have
actually
only one
pilot
pill.
with her full reflexes. She was always this good.
Nice.
Taking the limiters off.
Nice. That was her rated training.
Fine.
I don't know.
Pills.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sylvia can just fucking, kick her Viking and have it now. The only other big thing is that, so she took the, I think she took the, what did I take my 3rd license in? It was, gosh, it was something very cool. Half a sec here. What license did I take? Oh, come on.
You're so bad.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I took the 3rd rank of the metal mark, I believe,
Okay.
for her actual level up. But I switched her. Remember, she had like a random license in the Vlad.
Yeah.
That license is now in the Drake
Nice.
because she now has the Argonaut shield as a
Yay.
shoulder thing
Cool.
on her mechs
Yay.
because she just took some of the armor from Lyra's old mech and repurposed it.
So cute. You love to see it. All right. Who wants to go next?
Yes.
I guess I can go next because mine's pretty quick.
All right.
So, Quinn made that promise that she'd keep investing in Kobold. So she took that next rank in Kobold. Now she's unlocked the Kobold neck. So she prints out a new Kobold. Her Kobold is named Fracus because, she's got thematic naming. Of all of her mechs, they're named after squabbles. Fracus is a great little mech. And in addition to getting that second rank of Kobold, she got the second rank of Tactician. It's time for Quinn to start being a little bit more of a team player. I'm still not removing the fucking awful Siege Specialist talent that you all hate, but she's starting to be a bit more of a team player. Now, when other people are engaged, like in combat, she can show up and get a +1 accuracy on attacks to fight alongside them. Tactician 2 gives her a +1 accuracy on any ranged attack she makes while she's at a higher elevation than her target, which I joke because she's 5'9" now. She's a higher elevation than almost all of you, but in her mech still the Fracus is not bigger, but elevation is more on a hill or something, right?
Bryn's not short. He's not tall. He's probably he's probably my height. It's 5'11".
Yeah.
He never hit that. He never hit 6 foot. And
Yeah.
Boots.
Yeah. But it's just my point is in the Fracus or in any mech, Quinn now gets a +1 accuracy on any range attack if she's got height advantage. When she has the high ground, it's over for you, right? That's basically it in terms of that. In terms of stuff that she put points into, I didn't realize that I could just complete my project without rolling. Please.
Okay,
I'm
what
echoing,
happened
yeah.
there? What?
So I put more points into invent or create. I might actually swap that because I thought I had to roll again. Right, I might change that to something else like charm or something. But for right now, I put those points into invent or create. So that was Quinn's level up. She has a Kobold now. It's cute. Next person, I guess, Isadora.
Okay, I guess I could go next. Alright, so let me check my own level up sheet. So, I took +2 to investigate because I've got a +6 in just about everything I'm already good at.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped this time. I took Hacker 2, which, let me check. Alright, so Hacker 2 is, gain the following options for Invade.
You love to see
I
it.
get Jam Cockpit, which is basically characters may not mount or dismount your target until the cockpit is fixed with a successful engineering check as a full action. Disable Life Support. Your target receives +1 difficulty on all saves until the life support system is rebooted with a successful systems check as a quick action.
Nice.
And then Hack/. Your target cannot benefit from or take quick or full tech actions until the mech is either shut down or its core computer is rebooted with a successful systems check as a quick action.
So you can literally kill somebody if you want to,
Mhm.
because they won't eject if you hit that with
Yep.
the first
Oh
one.
my gosh, dare.
Yep.
All right. And
So-
is Alice back yet, or did she disappear again?
I never went anywhere.
It's your turn.
I've
to
been here
level-
the whole
if-
time.
If,
No,
if,
not done
oh,
yet.
if Fafner's okay, when Fafner's done, it's
Yeah.
your turn after Fafner.
Alright, so I also took a +1 in systems because Isadora is just getting good at that sort of thing
Mm-hmm.
now that she's accidentally created intelligence. And then I got the Monarch, the first rank of that. So let's see. Rank 1 of Monarch gives me Sharinga missiles, which is 15 range, 3 explosive damage that can attack 2 targets at a time and is arcing.
Nice.
That's extremely good.
Very good.
Javelin rockets, which is a fun system thing. Choose 3 free spaces within range 15 in line of sight that aren't adjacent to each other. All characters know which spaces you have chosen. You fire a volley of auto-targeting rockets into the air. Until the start of your next turn, when a character moves into or passes above a chosen space, no more than 10 spaces up, they're hit by a rocket, taking 3 kinetic damage. Each space can be triggered once, and then the effect disappears on that space. So, yeah, basically, as a quick action, I can basically just crowd control and just like lock down certain spaces.
Nice.
And if you move into that space, then you get hit. And then I got the core bonus, Improved Armament. If your mech has fewer than 3 mounts, excluding integrating mounts, it gains an additional flexible mount because, quite frankly, I need options.
Mm-hmm.
It has helped on all of the mechs that I have.
I have 5 mounts in my mech right now.
You extremely do not need Improved Armament.
Yes. All right. I guess that you're done.
Yep.
Okay, Alice, your turn.
So, Lyra's taken the last level, so she has the siege cannon, which is neat, and may or may not replace her main cannon now. Haven't decided yet, but she took bonded,
Aww.
Oh, nice.
so she has chosen Sylvia for her bonded.
Oh, that's cute.
Aw.
I appreciate it. Where you saw how cool it is on Archipelagia, and you were like, I'm gonna do it too.
I did. Actually, that was
Very cute. I like it. I love it. I love it when you're mechanically married.
and yeah. She also got gets. That's about it.
Okay, cool. You cut out a lot, but I think we got that. We're gonna
Of
figure.
course I
We're
did.
gonna figure out how to fix your thing after this. But
I have no idea. It
Yep.
just doesn't work.
I have some ideas.
Okay,
I think it's Discord. I don't think it's your mic.
Yeah, we'll go over it. Anything more? I think we're good for the session. Affection, do you want to let us know what the next Boundless mission is? Give us any hints, or you'll tell us that later.
I'll tell you later.
All right. Well
It's
then.
midnight.
Yep, it's midnight. It's time to stop. Goodbye, everybody.
So long.